Hello and welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining me. And once again, I welcome John from Boneyard Cinema. I think your mic's muted, John.
No, I was just being quiet while you were introducing us.
Right, okay. Well, tonight we are
making my big entrance
by our second special guest on the channel, Mistress herself, Miss Diamanda Hagan. Ladies and gentlemen, please, and those of non-binary people, say hello.
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 If any of you know who I am, hello. And if you don't know who I am, I'm sorry, you'll find out who I am soon.
Very much so, yes.
It's gonna hurt you so much. Can I get a link to Blue Sky and tweet out about this?
Yeah, sure. Just send me a link in private chat and I'll. Oh, you want to do that yourself? Okay. Yep. Just copy the link. Huh?
So, Gary, what is tonight's topic of conversation?
Tonight's topic of conversation is cult TV. Now, as we know, cult can mean anything, really. You know, sci-fi, horror, comedy, whatever. So, with
Charlie Manson. Charlie Manson.
Yes, Charlie Manson. Yes, exactly. The original Charlie Manson.
The original Charlie Manson.
Yes, the one who killed your man's girlfriend. We won't mention his name.
But that's bad cult. We're talking about good cult.
Yes, we're talking about good cult. So basically, anything goes. Once again, our stream is just so professional.
And we'll try to drag it down as low as we possibly can, like I usually do.
How low can you go? Well, our bar is there, and we're going to go there. So, just anything what we grew up with, what we enjoyed, like stuff like, I don't know, Knight Rider, for example, from the 1980s, A-Team, stuff like that, anything. Just as examples. So, if we each pick one of our favorites and we discuss it, and then we can take input from you guys in the chat, that'd be great.
Can you remember when Val Kilmer did the voice of Kid in the remake of Knight Rider?
Yes, 2008, yep. That was
Val Kilmer, man. Who thought that was a good idea?
Val Kilmer?
I guess he might have needed the work at the time, to be fair, but
he probably did, to be fair, like, because you know, it wasn't a bad show, in all fairness.
It wasn't a great show either.
Oh, John, no, you can't say that about Knight Rider.
I'm not speaking ill of the dead. I love Val Kilmer. You know I do. I did a whole video about him when he died, saying that he was the best thing in the whole world ever. I love Val Kilmer, but he was a weird choice for the voice of Kit.
Yeah, well, what do you think, Diamanda?
I think that the original Knight Rider wasn't very good either. So the remake not being very good was perfectly in character.
Okay,
great. But yeah, Val Kilmer is a bit of a weird choice for it. You know, he's not exactly got the most distinctive voice in the world, and Kit kind of needs a very recognizable voice. With Val Kilmer's got a "Hey, it's that guy" type voice rather than a "Oh shit, it's Val Kilmer" voice. Unless he's doing a silly voice, which is recognizable, like Doc Holliday or something.
I'll be your Huckleberry.
If he just sounded like that the whole time, he'd be very recognizable.
That would have been like one of them sat navs where you put the annoying voices on and you can't get them off.
Yeah,
like there's a reason they were able to recreate his voice with AI in Willow, and it just sounded like Val Kilmer because his voice wasn't that His voice was just kind of there. Everything else was really good. The voice.
I had a friend, man, James Duffy, won't mind us saying this. We were obsessed with Willow. And sometimes we'd see each other across a crowded room and he'd just shout, "Willow!" And I'd shout, "Kaya!" "Willow! Kaya!"
Madmartigan or Bambora or whatever.
And I think we were the only two people in the room who got the joke. You know? But we'd shout across, "Willow! Kaya!" across the room at each other.
I'm gonna do I want to do a video at some point about how Madmartigan was not only bisexual but was also some form of genderqueer.
Well, I can see it.
Yeah,
I mean, he was definitely very sexy.
So very easily seeable.
Yes.
That's why it was the wrong choice for Kit. When you see Val Kilmer, you want to see that gorgeous man's face, right? I mean, even towards the end, he was in Twixt and he was still gorgeous when he was in the Francis Ford Coppola movie.
Yeah, I know what you're saying there about his voice being recognizable.
Right.
But like, do you think William Daniels was a bad choice as well? Because he wasn't really well known.
That's easy to feel.
to our side of the world.
Well known he is. It's just how recognizable the voice is. If Will Daniels, if like you recognize the original Kit's voice,
Okay.
because it is an American accent that sounds British,
Yeah.
but it's an American accent. It's quite odd.
And you got suppose then you got Edward Mulhare playing a British toff, basically, as as Devon, and then he's Irish. So
Yeah.
Suppose you could work that way.
And you could always get the I'm afraid I can't do that, Michael.
Well, you can do a lot of things.
that would have been a better Knight Rider.
Yes.
Open the doors, please, Kit. I'm afraid I can't do that, Michael.
Of course, there's also have you seen the Hoff 9000 in Kung Fury the movie?
I think so.
Well, there was Kung Fury about 10 years ago. There's
Yeah.
10 minutes of the sequel, which has been linked to the internet. And it's got David Hasselhoff turning into a car and driving the hero around.
Oh, Jesus.
I'd buy that for $1.
So would I. Maybe 50 cents, maybe. I don't know.
Do you know where I buy that for $1 came from?
No.
I
have an idea.
This has an origin.
Ah.
And I discovered it, and I was like, holy crap, that blew my mind. Back in the 1950s, there was a dude called Cyril Kornbluth, wrote a short story called The Little Black Bag. It's about a science fiction thing about a disgraced doctor who finds a black medical bag full of technology and he can use it to cure people. And stuff happens. It was adapted into an episode of Tales of Tomorrow. It was adapted into a couple other things. Night Gallery did an adaptation of it. Then he decided to do a sequel to it, which showed the world that the bag came from, because it came from the future. And the bag had the twin elements of being so easily used, any idiot could use it, but also incredibly high level of technology. So they wanted to explain how this happened. And so he came up with something called the Marching Morons, which was about the stupid... Forgive me if you've heard this story before. The stupid outbred the smart. And an average man from the modern day gets frozen and he wakes up in the future, and then the people of the future try to get him to solve their problems. But in this book, this short story that was written in the 1950s, even the main character even has the same initials as the guy from Idiocracy. But he is actually asked to do this by the extreme minority of smart people in the future, and by solve their problems, they mean genocide the stupid. And so he uses his knowledge of Nazi war atrocities to kill all the stupid people, and then the smart execute him for the crime of killing all of them. But the Marching Morons had a TV show that the dumb people loved, where the catchphrase was, "Would you buy that for $0.25?" And the idea was, in RoboCop, there'd be an inflation, so I'd buy that for $1.
Very good.
Fantastic. That's brilliant.
A comment from Adam there. Good evening, Kerry, John, and special guest.
Evening, Adam.
All in the chat. Apologies I can't stay and join you all this evening. I hope you all have a great stream and enjoy. See you on the next one. All the best. Oh, Adam, you don't stay in. That's my impression of a country bumpkin. But I am a country bumpkin, I know you know that. So.
But where can I get the link for this so I can tweet it out?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, okay, 1 sec now. I shall get it for you. Sorry, I thought you meant something else. Okay.
Well, let's kick it off then. So, cult TV shows.
Yes.
So we were all having a bit of a chat before the stream. And we've mentioned Lex as a show that we all loved. So, should we talk about the impact of Lex and what impact Lex had on us?
I'm not familiar with it, but you two are, so you just go ahead.
Diamanda, would you be up for that?
I would. I have not. It's been a long time since I watched Lex. It's been too long, but I would happily talk about Lex.
So it was. I mean, to me, it was incredible. It was so imaginative, and it was. I started to see other shows that copied it, and it was really interesting that it was. We just spoke about this before. It was always on late at night in the UK, and I wouldn't see it till maybe 12, 1, 2 in the morning. But I would make a point of looking for it in the paper and the TV listings. I would make sure I was home for it. It was incredible. And every week there was this cool world that they built. It was a fantastic kind of future. It was first gen CGI, similar to Babylon 5. You know, but it had a beautiful look to it. And the world building was just fantastic. And they would have silly episodes like with Stephen McHattie, where he was an astronaut from a world that was potatoes. You know, the world was made of a potato, and it was just silly episodes of that, but it was so heartfelt as well, and you really cared for the characters. It was an incredible show.
Oh, that episode had the fantastic ending where you got the field where they're growing people and like it's like the weird horror episode. Yeah, Lex was such a unique beast. It's like Dune is reimagined by not Salvador Dali, but one of the other sort of Dadaist people, you know.
I'd say you could chuck Salvador Dali in there.
Well, maybe a Louis Buñuel kind of thing.
Louis Buñuel, definitely.
It is so fantastic. And one element that I think people sleep on about what made it unique, Paul Donovan, who created it, he was a physicist.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not sure if he was just a trained physicist or if he actually was a professional physicist for a while, but he definitely had a background in physics. And so a lot of the weird shit that Lex did was inspired by real world physics, like the entire end of series 2 where they destroyed the universe by
parallel dimensions.
Yeah, you got that, and then the moving everything to one, all the matter in the universe to one place to destroy the universe, like a big crunch, you know, that kind of thing. That was all inspired by actual physics, which it gives it a unique flavor.
I mean, it's one thing, definitely. You were spot on there when you were saying it was different things, and there was different flavors in it. Every week there was a different flavor, and it didn't stick to one genre.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was pure horrific. Sometimes it was slapstick comedy, like the Three Stooges, especially with Stanley Tweedle. I mean, and I love that element of it, that each week you didn't know what you were going to get.
So was there just standalone episodes, or
totally? There was some standalone episodes. I mean, there was always a mission. There was always one guy that was after them. You know, there was always Kai was from the last of his kind. You know, there was that kind of running Kai was a kind of mechanoid of the future, but he was like a super assassin ninja mechanoid. He was so cool.
He wasn't a mechanoid. He was a zombie.
He was a zombie. He'd been brought back to life with technology, yes. So but he was part of a military unit, right? And there'd been an army of him at one point.
He was the last of the Burning G. His people, you know, did a last stand to fight the forces of his Divine Shadow. Yes. And because he was the last of these, the Divine Shadow decided to add insult to injury by resurrecting him as an undead assassin who spent thousands of years basically killing people for the Divine Shadow, you know, and it finally gets freed, and you know, sucks for the Divine Shadow, but it was prophesied that the last Burden G would kill him.
Yes. So there's that arc all the way through it. That arc is all the way through it.
Was there an arc as well?
Yeah, and there was, I mean, how many seasons did we get? Was it 5 seasons, Alex?
4.
4 seasons, Alex?
Yeah, you got series 1, which was the movie. Series 2 was with Mantra. Series 3 was where they were in heaven and hell. Yeah. And series 4, they were like, we're out of ideas, so we're just going to take the piss out of George W. Bush.
That was really good as well, wasn't it? But I always remember that image of the White House that was just like proper first generation CG. It was always so, but it looked so.
Was it George W. or George H.W.?
It was
George W.
George W.
Right.
This is very early 2000s. This is like around the same time as 9/11. They were parodying a lot of contemporary American culture. They had some really good episodes too, though. They had like an episode where the entire thing is just Kai and the devil having like a chess game for the entire thing, and it is. I found a chess website who'd never seen Lex, had no concept for it, but they were raving about this episode as the best example of a chess game ever depicted on screen media, and they were so confused by everything else.
But I mean, I'm joking. So in the last season, Shadow was kind of like the president's advisor. I remember, right?
No, the Divine Shadow was killed in series 1, but
who's the blonde guy? That's the one I'm thinking of.
Oh, that's Prince. He's the actual devil stand-in, but
that's the guy.
but the Divine Shadow has appearances in various guises, but because he's never forgotten, but he got Prince replaced him as the main villain.
Yes.
Okay. So there was kind of an arc and also kind of standalones as well.
Yeah,
Definitely, definitely.
it's very 1990s sci-fi with with like 20 odd episodes. So you've got standalones and you've got an arc going on, a season arc.
Okay.
So there was so we're talking 4 seasons. And this was, we should say it's Canadian, not American, right? It was a Canadian production.
Canadian-German co-production. Canadian-German-British co-production in Series 1.
Yep.
Then Channel 5 pulled out.
Oh.
And there's also a Red Dwarf tie-in.
Yeah, there was Craig Charles and Hattie Hayridge turned up in an
episode. Yeah. It was just, I mean, for me, talking about the impact of it, was that it was just so batshit that it made me think, that's where I want to go. Ideas can come from anywhere. Each week, anything could happen. Characters died, came back. There was worlds that were created just for episodes. You would see the craziest stuff you'd ever saw, and then it would never be mentioned again.
Yeah, like my favorite example of that particular thing is they're like, we want to do a slasher movie episode. So of course they find a bunch of cryogenically frozen teenagers and they mess with Kai and he turns back into an assassin. He starts killing them one by one.
It's fantastic. It really is fantastic. And it was, as a guy that was wanting to kind of starting to think about maybe I want to do this kind of thing, it was really interesting to see how they used the technology. So the fact that Lex was almost all the shots in space were similar to Babylon 5, where you see the outer shell of the spaceship. These were like, what was the drive that the graphics were done on? Pardon me. It was like 6-bit or 6 gig, right? 6 gig graphics.
That I don't know.
I was but it was so interesting seeing the characters interact with these unreal environments.
Oh, okay.
So you could tell that there was CG, but it was so fake that you just kind of fell into it because it's. So I was listening to the other day. I was talking about. I've just done a podcast on Halloween 2, and the characters were talking about suspension of disbelief. So they were saying like Michael Myers in that got like powers up to 10. He could walk through plate glass doors all of a sudden, and then he could smash through wooden doors all of a sudden, which he couldn't do in the first one unless it was a closet door. And they were talking about you have to have suspension of disbelief every week in Lex. I just gave myself over to it 100%. I didn't question it. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I love about it. It was, I think, I mean, do you agree with this, Diamanda? You really had to give yourself over to the universe of it, didn't you?
It definitely requires a different mindset than, say, Star Trek or something like that. It is a lot more freewheeling. It's more of an example of what science fiction was like before the late 80s.
Yes, like Ray Bradbury or something.
Yeah, or the 1930s, 40s, even earlier than Ray Bradbury.
Weird science.
Yeah, when you get the weird fiction sort of elements where things were a lot just looser and weirder. Like in science fiction, making it like a cohesive thing, which has its benefits, but in science fiction TV, but like beforehand, you had a lot more weirder shit. Like, look, compare the original series of Star Trek to Next Generation and on. Original series, far weirder.
Definitely. Definitely. Yes, definitely. Liewave? Was that an episode, Minnie? Was Minnie talking about an episode there?
I think he's talking about the drive.
Ah, the drive, right. The Liewave drive that made it was only a couple of meg. I mean, it was like 6 meg graphics. I wish I could remember. I'd recently bought the Babylon 5 Blu-ray. They upscaled them and released them on Blu-ray, and that's why it was on my brain, because they were talking about the drive that made the graphics and on the commentary, and I can't remember it. I wish I could, but it was something like it was like 2 or 3 bit graphics, So they couldn't upscale them for the Blu-rays.
But the irony with Lex is, graphics being, really terrible now. The computer graphics were part of the reason that the show was made in the first place.
Yep.
Like, this is me just remembering from like 25 years ago, watching the making of on the DVD.
Ground, yeah.
Yeah, they said, look what we can do with, with a little bit of money because of CGI. And they were like, holy crap, you can do all that. That's amazing looking. It looks like a movie. Yeah. Here you go. And that was, they credited the CGI with them getting getting it off the
I
ground.
mean, another reason it was mind blowing was that element as well to me. I mean, I'm talking about them now. I was saying, they looked so fake, but at the time it was mind blowing. But like I say, I always just gave myself over to it. I always do that. I mean, film wise, that's the type of viewer I am. It is a kind of escape. It is an escape for me, and I do give myself over to it. I always do. I always give myself over to the world of the films as much as I can, unless it's. I mean, there'll be an example of it. What took us out of it would be The Mist, the Stephen King movie. Frank Darabont. There's a guy and it kills his whole family in the end. Kills his son. Kills these 3 people he's just met. Totally,
it's so good.
It's the point of the movie that this guy isn't not a very nice guy. I understand that. I understand the end. But it took me out of the movie so much when I saw it in the cinema. I thought, man, I would never have done that. And it took us out of the movie. Do you know what I mean?
But I think
I have to disagree on him not being a nice guy, though.
I always thought he was trying to kind of give his kid to everybody else.
no, I don't think
Oh no,
that
he
it
was
like
looking after.
he was that pissed off with the whole thing. He saw no way out. Otherwise, he's put his kids out of their misery. Bang bang.
I do love the film now, by the way.
And then of course,
like in the original short story, they just drive off into the mist.
Yeah.
But King thought that the ending of the movie was an improvement.
I think Darabont did too. But to me, I mean, obviously we've all got our different interpretations of it. I love Thomas Jane as an actor, and to me, I did not relate to him one bit in that movie. I think he did everything wrong. I did not like his character in that film. And it was the end of it when he killed his son kind of cemented that for me. And it was like, man, and that totally took me out of the story because I would never have killed my own kid,
The killing of the kid, though, also gives you a very fun reading of the film.
Yes.
Because thanks to that and the mist clearing right afterwards,
that's what I'm saying.
Mrs. Carmody was right. Everything she said predicted came true, which makes it that makes the film even better.
Marcia Gay Hayden, one of the best actresses of all time, and she is incredible. I love Marcia Gay Hayden so much. I mean, the cast in that, you've got Toby Jones, you've got flipping William Sadler. It's an amazing cast. It really is. And Laurie Holden pops up in there.
Did you say Toby Jones?
You've got, what do you call her? What do you call him? The guy who voices Darth Maul on the animated things. He plays the soldier who gets given to
they send him outside. That guy with it, he's got really black hair, hasn't he? I remember his hairline. It's like proper eyes, really cool in that too. Really cool. But it is, I mean, I hated that. When I was in the cinema, that ending took me out of it completely. It did, and I was like, man, this isn't the Stephen King novella. I'm a huge Stephen King fan. but then again, now I love it. So it took me out of it so much. That was one of the only movies I can ever remember that ever did that. But that was the point. I just missed the point. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Did you have
I think the black and white? I do agree. It's a better ending than the novel. Or novella, I should say.
I like the end of the novella. I like a good unsolved ending. But I did Diamanda. I did like the black and white version. I thought that was pretty cool. It looked like I mean, that was Darabont. He wanted to make it like an old Weird Tales, Weird Science. He wanted to make it like one of those old stories. And it does look great. It does. But I prefer the color version. And I did like the spin-off TV series. I wish it had gotten another season.
Really?
I thought it was okay, yeah.
Oh, right. I might have to fight you to the death over that.
That's all right. You wouldn't be the first. I like some of the worst movies ever made, Diamanda. I really do.
Cinema conversations, bringing people to fight.
Although I will say that did have Frances Conroy, and Frances Conroy is the one person I would have.
She was beautiful in that too. She looked incredible in it.
If they were doing a remake of The Mist, she would have been the perfect Carmody. Obviously, they completely changed things around. She's basically playing Carmody, but not quite.
It was interesting. I mean, the whole thing with her husband, she just let her husband die and all that. And I'd love to have seen a season 2. I'd love to have seen where they went with that.
They would have gone somewhere weird.
They would have, for sure. And the fact that there was like the bully kid who got killed I think he got killed, didn't he? Towards the end, there was a guy who was bullying everybody.
I can't remember. I think I saw it once.
Me too. I watched
it. Was
maybe I'm totally wrong and it's the worst thing ever. I don't know.
Maybe you're just only fan.
I think you're right. I think you might be.
Wouldn't be the first time again. It wouldn't be the first time. I've been wrong many times. And in fact, I'm pretty professional at being wrong.
Yeah, I get paid a lot for it.
It was anyway.
So anyway, you recommend for those fans who are into nonsensical, silly, arc-driven sci-fi?
101,000,000%, yes. I think
Right,
the whole world, the world would be a better place if everybody watched Lex.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
And frankly, I would quite happily see a continuation or a remake or both, and then they do a crossover with parallel universes. It'd be
Definitely,
great.
or even a couple of movies. I mean, I know there's been a few fans who've tried to raise cash over the years. I'm
Hmm.
always surprised there's never been fan movies of
Yeah.
Lex. I mean, I did think about it for a time, but it's too perfect for me. There's some things I don't want to touch.
So can I ask
You know,
both of you, as
I
fans
do.
of the show,
Perfect. It shaped me. It did shape me.
yeah,
It really did. It shaped my love.
if they remade it,
I would watch
would
it.
you like it to keep the same style, or
You couldn't keep the same style now. It would be so un-PC that nobody would let you make it. It's we didn't really mention how vulgar and awful and crazy it
You
is.
could totally keep it. It depends on who makes it.
Yes, it does. That would be the thing.
I would totally keep it. In fact, I would push it even further in that area.
okay, that's good. That's
Because like in for instance, in Lex, you've got the robot head 790 who is in love with first couple of series is in love with Kai and hates everyone else, then is in love with Zev and then hates everyone else, and then is in love with Kai and hates everyone else.
right.
I always thought they should have done one, but the person he hates most is Stanley. They should have done a thing where he fell in love with Stanley, but he also hates him, and you could do something like like a single white female type obsession thing there. Like they could
Hardware,
have
do a
done,
hardware with head.
Yes.
yeah. The like, I mean, Lex did a parody of Alien involving a dead body with a robot head trying to rape one of the main characters.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
for laughs.
I know it was dark. But dark, brilliant. Sorry, I'm just going to have to suck the beer off my bench here. I've just spilt my can all over the place.
John, can't think anywhere.
I haven't got any tissue.
But yeah, Lex, you could do it. It's just very, it's just difficult.
Okay, that's fair enough.
But I think you could definitely do it again, yes, and I think I would welcome it. I am the guy who these remakes are aimed at. I've said this a few times. It's as much as I hate, the remakes and reimaginings and reboots, I still watch them. I'm the audience for these. If they're going to, if the how many times have they done Last Man on Earth, the Omega Man, I Am Legend? I've watched all of them. How many times have they done, I don't know, as many as there is. How many times have they Last of the Mohicans? How many times have they done Ben-Hur? I've watched them all, The Crazies, one of the best remakes of all time. I am the audience for them. If they remake my favorite shows, I'll watch them. And even if they're terrible, I'll watch them to the end because that's the type of fan I am. I'm just a horrible fanboy. But I'll complain about it all the way through, but I would watch it.
That's quite right.
Sounds all right to me. So, moving on from sci-fi, we can go back to it if we need to.
Oh, we'll have to. I think that's the only thing I remember from my grown-up cult TV series is sci-fi.
Oh, right, okay. Any particular memories from you, Diamanda?
For a particular cult show?
Yeah.
Because see, basically, I watch so much random, quite often sort of infamous and low rent stuff that I have no concept of what is cult anymore and what is not.
I agree. There's a lot of stuff that's cult now that seems mainstream to me, which is weird.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm agree. Yeah, it is a very, whenever you're very into media, that kind of stuff happens. Yeah. I mean, my idea of what's good and bad is completely skewed compared to the average person because I watch so much stuff. Like just over there, I have a 7-hour art house German film about Hitler, called a Man from Germany, and let's just, it's not impressed with him, but it's from the 70s. But like, just give you an idea that when you have that kind of thing in your collection and you've seen it more than once, it plays with what you think, what your idea of a normal film is.
Fair enough.
You can't avoid it. But talk about a cult thing.
Well, maybe something you grew up with that you enjoyed, or
how about Round the Twist?
Okay, yeah.
Strange things happen.
Yeah.
Do.
That I would love to see a remake of, like some sort of a movie version.
It
could very easily. It would be so good. This don't know if the chat have seen this. An Australian show based on some novels. Bizarrely, they recast absolutely everyone at least once. No, wait. One guy didn't get recast. That's the guy who was in charge of the show. He like wrote most of the episodes. He was never recast. He played the evil teacher.
Ah, cool.
But everyone else gets recast at least once, and it is actually, thinking about it, it's probably because there was like between 3 and 5 years between series, and half the cast were kids.
Yeah, the kids would.
But still,
sorry to interrupt you. Just add very quickly. If you are interested in Round the Twist, it is on YouTube.
Oh, good.
The full series was on YouTube.
Should we all sing the theme tune?
Well, we're going to play it.
Ever felt like this? Strange things happen when you're going around the twist.
I think we just got notification here. We're demonetized.
Oh, yeah.
No, okay, continue. Sorry, Diamanda.
That's the most perfect version the internet will ever hear of that.
So I will continue. What you're saying?
Oh, it had a bunch of it was almost like an anthology show instead of regular show, because it's just bizarre shit happens to these family, but it's never really carries on, except like series 3 was the Viking Book of Love.
Yeah.
But that actually had a plot that continued on. But most of them, it was hyperly episodic, and you had like weird things like swimming trunks that made you go fast, or a machine that just copied everything, or like a public an outside toilet which is got a ghost living in it.
Yeah, I remember peeing over the wall. I remember in the episodes in the toilet. Yeah, and one episode always sticks out in my mind when the girl made all the guys' clothes disappear on stage. It was like I don't know why I always remember that one. There was a Dracula episode I really remember. It sticks out in my brain.
Yeah, it's like there's some parts of it which were almost like PJ Hammondish. You know, the guy did Sapphire and Steel. Yes. This weird, sort of stuff. Almost like I haven't read the books, but I imagine they're kind of like an Aussie version of like Roald Dahl or something.
Yeah, I never read them either, but I would think there would be like maybe Point Horror-ish or something, like early teen books or something like that.
Minty says, I remember The Girl from Tomorrow, an Australian children's TV show in the early 90s we had in the UK. Yeah, we had it too.
I remember that.
Yeah, I used to love it. Alana and Silverthorn and Jenny Kelly and those characters, I mean.
Just to say there as well, Minty, that's what it was. It was the Amiga. That's what I was thinking of. It was the Amiga that did the graphics for Babylon 5. It was that's what it was. It was Amiga graphics.
So you're right when you said like Wave, John or Minty. So that's cool.
Another cult show. Oh, God damn it, my mind's gone. Yeah, Mud. Have you heard of Mud?
No, I've never seen Mud.
Okay.
I've heard of it
now, Mud. If you want to know more about this show, you can go into my YouTube. I did an episode by episode look at it. Well, sort of episode by episode. The first video was an introduction in series 1. Series 1 is ignorable. It's basically about some kids go to a camp and like there's a very young Russell Brand in it. You know, that's not a really good reason to see it. But series 2, okay, because series 1 very normal, just kids shit in a thing. But then series 2, they end up being the main characters. They get grabbed by this Gandalfish old man who is trying to stop the evil one, who's this old woman with magic powers, from destroying the world. They end up going back in time and they discover that the old man, who doesn't know why he has to stop her and doesn't know why she doesn't know why she's evil and wants to destroy the world. They discover that he was actually the Witchfinder General in the medieval period, and he burned her entire family at the stake, and then she got magic powers and decided to get revenge on humanity. And then they end up going like the future. One of the kids gets killed. It's Russell Tovey, the actor. Him like age 10. He gets run over by a van and gets killed. Then they have to go back and have to resurrect him, and they bring him back to life. And the new resurrected version of him gets deleted from history because they change history. But then eventually the old man decides to shank his younger self to death, and then one of the episodes ends with the woman destroying the world.
Oh, it's like a show then.
That sounds right up my street. It really does. That sounds fantastic.
It is a demented, like Doctor Who plot that you could see this being adapted by Stephen Moffat into Doctor Who, and this was 3 o'clock in the afternoon, kids show thing, and you got a guy killing himself, suicide in the third person.
And this is well before Rick and Morty decided to go back and kill themselves. It just sounded crazy. I thought you meant it was like a kid show there at first. It was like,
it is.
Oh my god!
Yes.
The first episode is on YouTube.
So it's like if Aquila. Can you remember Aquila, the two kids who find the spaceship and they all go off into outer space?
No, that one I don't know.
So it's like that's if like Aquila crash landed into the Earth and destroyed everything. That sounds amazing. No, that's fine. I've written it down, so I will check that one out definitely.
Well, I have as a link or a tab. So on my
that's the in the chat. That's the link to my first of my mud video. I can think of like 7 mud videos. I go episode by episode in series 2, but it is fucking amazing.
I'll make sure to watch them and then I'll watch the reviews. I'll do that. That's give us something to do in the second week of December. That's going to be my week. I'm gonna watch Mud and then I'm gonna watch the reviews.
You can skip series 1, but if you want to see like 15-year-old Russell Brand be a prat and maybe occasionally get covered in mud, you can watch it, but there's no need.
So it's like watching Ben Affleck and what do you call it? Dazed and Confused.
Yes. Oh my god, he was in Dazed and Confused.
He was also in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Russell Brand,
the movie.
Oh, Ben Affleck.
No, Ben Affleck.
Yeah, he was one of the basketball players.
Yeah,
I remember that really well. Luke Perry, man, I had a crush on Luke Perry. He was amazing.
Fair enough.
One of the best reasons to watch Oz, by the way, everybody.
But
yeah, the Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie, I really like it. I think Donald Sutherland was a great Giles. You've got Herman there as well, right? And you've got Paul Rubens, and it was a really great cast at the movie.
It really was. I was get kind of bothered in the in the series whenever they showed flashbacks to it, and they didn't even try to recreate what was going on in the film. But then again, Whedon hated the film.
Oh, I know. And of course, my man Rutger.
Did they kind of
my man Rutger
Sarah Michelle Gellar into the flashbacks, or what? How was it?
I can't remember. I really can't.
They did a couple of flashbacks. They showed Merrick, who was played by Donald Sutherland.
Merrick.
He was played by an American actor who was like short and fat with a mustache, wearing a regular suit, and then there was always deliberate references to stuff that didn't happen in the movie, but did happen in the original script, like Buffy burning down the gymnasium, stuff like that. He was very deliberate that he made sure that people knew that the movie wasn't canon, but his script was, which is a little bit weirdly self-obsessed.
I wonder why they didn't bring Hilary Swank back. She could have been in the series.
Was Joss Whedon the director of the film? Or was he?
You mean Kirsty Swanson?
No. Hilary Swank was one of the posh girls.
Was she?
She was one of the Valley girls that was trying to she buys a yellow jacket at the mall, the yellow leather jacket. Hilary Swank.
She's had a great career, doesn't it?
And that's what I was saying. She was probably doing $1 Million Baby or something by then.
They should have brought Luke Perry in as Pike, or brought the character back somehow. Maybe make him a vampire.
I think I love Luke Perry so much. He's just great.
But they had Spike, did they not? Spike.
Yeah, now I'm wondering, was Spike originally meant to be Pike coming back?
Maybe. I mean, he wasn't quite the same character in the movie, but
yeah, it's possible some things could have changed. They
never
think of a vampire.
I mean, my favorite memory of Spike in the series is My Way, Sid Vicious. Sid Vicious when he's riding down the road in the black Cadillac singing My Way.
Oh, that wasn't Sid Vicious's version.
Which version was it?
That was the version from Sid and Nancy, which was being sung by Gary Oldman.
Yeah, Gary Oldman. Shit.
Yeah,
seen
look
that.
up the clip on YouTube
Oh,
and
well,
compare them. That is the Gary Oldman version.
he did a great Sid Vicious in that movie.
Oh, he did.
It was great. I'm not surprised they chose to use it. It was great. They even Alex Cox recreated the music video, didn't he, with the white lights in the background and everything, and you got him
Yeah.
falling all over the stage. That was great. But that's one of my memories from Buffy. I remember Spike riding down the road in the car singing "My Way." That's one of the
Well, technically it was Sid Vicious, but by extension it was Gary Oldman. So
Gary Oldman's version. Yeah.
Yeah. Sid Vicious's "My Way" is my favorite song.
It's a great version. Like it is. I actually have the vinyl of it downstairs.
very good.
You got everything downstairs.
I know. It's
See, we try to keep it contained here in our rooms.
I was going to say something really. I was going to say something really dirty there, but that would definitely get us banned off YouTube. I've got everything downstairs.
Keep the kids under the floorboards.
In about 3 weeks, you're gonna reveal you got Tony Todd down there, mummified.
Well, now you mention it, it's starting.
You do?
It's starting to smell a bit.
Speaking of Tony Todd,
I'm having to pour more and more Heineken all over the place just to get rid of the smell.
Speaking of Tony Todd,
Speaking of Tony Todd, do you want us to bring him up?
Yeah, well, yeah. He was a guest star in my first choice, X-Files.
Oh, that was the Vietnam guys, right? Who wouldn't sleep.
Right,
Yeah, sleepless.
Sleepless, that's it. Yeah, sorry.
And not the Dario Argento Sleepless.
No, not quite. No, it's Chris Carter's version.
I remember it really well. It was a great episode. It was like
Yeah.
the one guy like cut his eyelids off or some shit, right?
That's right. Yeah.
No.
Well,
Yeah.
the aliens, the good aliens, did that. So
And I imagine that episode was probably because of the fame of Jacob's Ladder, right? They must have probably jumped on the Jacob's Ladder bandwagon with that episode.
I think it was
after that.
1990s Vietnam.
Yeah.
Hamburg,
Paranoia and
Yeah,
stuff.
Hamburg Hill and all that.
1990, So, but no,
I've been
for me, X-Files was, I'm rewatching it with Lexi, and we're up to near the end of season 7 now. Now the last episode we watched was Hollywood AD, where they make the spoof of the movie.
And that's the one where it looks like an Ed Wood movie at the end, right? With
Yes.
all the crosses and stuff, and they're in the.
Yeah.
I remember that
Tia
one.
Leone and Gary Chandling.
Tia Leone, is that where Duchovny met Tia Leone? Because they got married.
Yeah, I think they were married before or got together before, because he kind of compliments her a bit too much,
Well, I think he did. He ended
He
up
wrote-
getting
he wrote
divorced,
the
didn't he? So,
But no, X-Files for me is, I'm a believer. I'm a Mulder, you could say. I believe there's something out there. So I would, even though the surrogate would be, Mulder and all that.
well, I mean, I'm with you, Kerry. I mean, it shaped the X-Files was one of the things that shaped my life when I was a kid. I mean, I like the spin-offs too. I like Dark Skies, Millennium, and Harsh Realm, but it was, I mean, I started reading about Roswell and UFOs and stuff because of the X-Files.
Same, pretty much.
I did. I mean, that was the show that made me start to read about things like that.
Well, for me, it was like, when the episode one in season 4, when Mulder's sent to Gulag in Russia, Tunguska.
Yeah, that's got my favorite in, right? That's where Krychek.
Yeah.
Yeah, Krychek's
Krychek,
gorgeous. Love Krychek.
Yes.
One of them was gorgeous human beings I ever saw. I love that guy.
Well, he was actually in a season 1 episode before that. And
He should have been in every episode, Krychek. He was my favorite character.
Yeah, he was in the not very aged very well episode Gender Bend
right,
in series 1.
He was like he's embarrassed to admit that he was in the car with who he thinks is a guy, right? And Mulder says off the record, and he goes, "It was a guy." His hospital bed. I remember that one really well. Gender Bend is a great episode, and at the end, like you don't see it, but it implies it's like bad taste. The whole flipping house must have took off, right? And took.
Yeah.
That's kind of what Gender Bend implies at the end. The whole frigging community must have just took off like a mothership because there's nothing left.
Well, that's the thing.
except one crop circle.
Yes. But no, I think it kind of led to a lot of, obviously the government in America was kind of withholding things and probably still do to a certain extent. regarding extraterrestrials and
Oh, totally.
crashes and
I
stuff.
mean, Chris Carter said he was. I remember Chris Carter saying Kolchak was like a really big influence on it as
Oh
well.
yeah, it was, yeah, big time. Jesus.
Right. But
Speaking
I
of
mean, it shaped us. I mean,
Australia,
flipping hell, David Duchovny. I mean, I've actually got my ear pierced this year, and it's because of David Duchovny. Do you ever see the movie he made, California, with Juliette Lewis and Brad Pitt and flipping
yeah,
Michelle Forbes? That's why I've got an ear piercing. That's how much I love David Duchovny.
you're blind then. You're not drawing your blind.
I saw him in that movie, California. I was like, that's the coolest guy I've ever seen. I'm getting my ear pierced.
You've been chatting before that. So
Right. But I mean, it was, man, it's so iconic. Almost every episode's got something iconic in it up until season 6, I would say.
The I've been rewatching it myself. I'm up to series 4, and yeah, it is very solid. Though the Monster of the Week stuff is stronger than the arc stuff.
Definitely.
mostly, yes. Once the conspiracy arc is pretty much done, it does go a bit silly.
I really wish if a great challenge with the X-Files would be if they were going to do a remake of it. Apparently, they are doing
Yeah.
a remake.
Yes,
of
I
it.
know I have.
But if you try to do a remake of it, because of all the stuff that's happened since, it's going to be really interesting to see how they handle all of the conspiracy bollocks.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna, what used to be a bunch of lovable conspiracy people, is now, QAnon.
Mm.
So it's really difficult, interesting to see how they handle that. What I'd like to see, like my take would be, you got Mulder believes in aliens and everything, but every single week they discover no, it's actually the government that did it, and then by the end he just he quits the FBI and doesn't believe in aliens anymore, just to give it a completely different feel. Because you can't recreate the 1990s X-Files anymore.
No, I think that's what happened.
Well, they might try. Who knows?
The standalone seasons in 2016 and 2018, they tried to recreate them and they couldn't.
There was one, I love the episode where before the stream we were actually talking about Millennium, and there's an episode where it's from the demon's point of view. That episode that shows you multiple points of view with the and who everybody thinks is the demon is just literally a guy sitting in the grass who's weird and different. He's sitting chewing the grass, and the guy comes along. Somebody gets killed, to blame him, and he's like the monster. Do you know the episode I mean? It's
Somehow Satan Got Behind Me.
The Australian comedian. It was a great episode, that, and I thought that was like a really good Monster of the Week episode, because it was just, they were totally taking the water out of themselves,
That was Somehow Satan Got Behind Me. That's the Millennium episode with the demons, but the
yes,
I think it was Darren Morgan was the writer of the one you're talking about. He only wrote about 6 or 7 episodes of the X-Files, but every single one was a banger. That guy, possibly the best writer in 1990s American TV.
Yeah.
And if you look at his career, he has not written very much beyond the X-Files. But he's just like, every so often he just wanders in from from whatever desert he's living in, and he's got a script, and then he wanders back, and maybe he's on Walkabout. I don't know.
Well, he was also the Fluke Monster, and he was also in an episode called Small Potatoes.
Small Potatoes, right?
Yeah, in season 4.
Oh, that's the one with the guy with the tail, and he keeps having children.
That's it.
That's really. There's so many crazy things that show did, isn't it? Really.
Well, the thing you see, I think Lexi likes the mythology side of things, the arcs and all that. But
I do. I love it.
I do like the funny episodes as well. Like Bad Blood. With the guy who played Pugsley in the 90s Addams Family movies.
I don't think I've seen that one. Right? What series was that in?
Season 5.
Okay, I haven't got there yet.
Okay.
I remember back when I was watching the X-Files first time around, I stopped watching at some point during series 4.
Okay.
So I've seen some, I've seen the reboot series, not the continuation series and stuff like that. But so I'm going to shortly get into virgin territory for myself.
Cool.
The weird thing about the X-Files, it's good. I'm not insulting it. It is very good.
It's okay. It's fine.
There is some terrible episodes as well.
Oh yeah, geez, there is. Yeah.
It's a very weird show in that both of its spin-offs were better than it.
Yeah. Well,
Millennium and The Lone Gunman, both very different shows, both more consistently good and, definite in what they were doing than X-Files.
I think Carter had taken what he learned from the X-Files, and then Millennium for me is one of the best shows ever. I think Millennium's perfect.
well, there is a crossover episode with.
There isn't. That's the end of Millennium, so to speak.
Yeah.
And it's the
That's
first time.
Max Thunder.
And it's the first time Mulder and Scully kiss. Happy New Year!
Right. Spoilers.
Yeah.
And they did the same in with the Lone Gunman, and when they killed the Lone Gunman off in it.
Yeah.
Man, I know that was horrible. I'd never ever thought they should do that. Did you read the comics? So they're not dead. Everybody, the Lone Gunmen aren't dead. I promise.
Technically, they're not.
Mulder goes to the grave. There's a trap door in the grave. He goes down into the trap door. The Lone Gunmen are alive. All right. If you read the comic book, well, they're not dead.
Wow.
So that's who I identify with the most. I was the Lone Gunman. I was that guy.
You were the three of them.
It was like, I mean, I wasn't gorgeous enough to be David Duchovny, you know. It was like I was them. That's who I was. It was so good at it, but I mean, they do die saving the world. Let's be fair.
Yeah, they do.
Oh,
yeah.
And of course,
Fairness,
that's what they were always meant to do. But man, Scully should have given at least one of them a kiss. They were always obsessed.
Well, Frohickey was first in line, I think. No.
Frohickey was obsessed, wasn't
he? Yeah. But no, I think for me, I didn't get to watch a lot of 90s TV. Various reasons. I won't go into, but I did collect the DVD and magazine when it came out in the early 2000s or mid 2000s.
Yeah, I remember those coming on.
And then I've since upgraded to Blu-ray for them. So I've kept the magazines, but I've sold the disc DVDs. The DVDs.
Me too. I've still got the old DVDs. I've never actually. I'm ashamed to say I've never actually upgraded the X-Files to Blu-ray because I have watched a few of them on stuff like I think they're on Tubi and things. You can watch the episodes.
All right. Okay.
But I like the fact that they look like old television. It makes us feel warm inside.
There isn't really much difference, in the.
Yeah, some genres are like that. Like I'm strongly of the opinion that sitcoms, especially British sitcoms, look better on VHS.
Oh, I think
VHS quality. Slasher movies look better with VHS. Like I don't have a VHS player anymore, so unfortunately I've got like DVDs and stuff. But it lends itself to some genres. Like, have you ever seen Danger 5?
No, I don't think so.
I haven't seen.
Okay, can you play videos through the stream here?
Yep, we can. Yep, you can share a screen. Yep.
Okay, Carrie.
Yep.
Find the trailer for Danger 5 Series 1 and Series 2. I'm going to give you no context for this. Watch both back to back and have your mind blown. This show will change your life.
I'm excited.
But I have this on Blu-ray, and I don't think I should have this on Blu-ray. This is not a show that should be watched on Blu-ray.
I know what you mean. Do you know what it is? I felt the same way when I upgraded to Babylon 5 when I bought the Blu-rays. And I watched them, and I started to learn about the Minty was talking about before, the Amiga effects that they did on it and stuff. And it hasn't got the same feel. I mean, even the DVDs of DS9 don't look like the way I remember the show.
It's so strange. Like I remember watching the DS9 DVDs after going up from the VHSs, and you could see them. You could see the makeup joins. One of my things, you got the modern technology with upscaling.
Yeah.
I wonder if you upscale something where it's filmed on a low-level camera, you take the VHS of DS9, you upscale it to HD quality.
Yeah.
If the technology gets good enough, because the VHS version does not have the obvious makeup lines that the DVD quality one does. The upscaled one wouldn't have it either.
Yeah.
So it might be better from a technological point of view to upscale rather than actually do a traditional Blu-ray.
Yeah.
So if you're making science fiction, it might be smarter for the makers to film something at a lower resolution and upscale it, because then the flaws won't be visible in the actual footage.
That makes total sense.
If that makes sense.
It does make sense. Of course it does. It was like, I mean, the first time I ever remember seeing the flaws was The Evil Dead, and I bought the DVD of it, which is actually behind us somewhere. It's it was the Book of the Dead. And so you got the DVD with the Book of the Dead. And you could see the mats around the moon and things. And speaking about the mist taking you out of the film, that takes you out of the movie a bit when you can actually see the fact that somebody's matted the moon in. But where's the VHS? Obviously, I never had that problem.
In the Stephen King had his big quote about The Evil Dead, saying about how good it was, and you got the quote, which I forget what the quote was, but the first half
probably
of the
on
quote,
there. You want us to grab it? It's probably on there.
it probably is. But the first half of the quote is talking about what you were talking about. Like he's talking about, you can see like the Matt thing about the moon. But he also said, it is so good that you don't care.
Yeah, of course Yeah. But that was the first time I ever remembered seeing noticeably this was a newer technology, taking an older movie and upscaling it to DVD, I guess you would say, from the VHS. And it just lost something. But I mean, I'm not a technophobe. I love technology. I'd much rather watch Escape from New York on Blu-ray than I would on VHS, because you can see what's happening, whereas you never could on VHS because it was so dark. Same with Rambo 2 or something. You couldn't see it because it was so dark on the VHS. But there's just something about it, especially with TV shows like the X-Files, where I remember seeing it a very distinct way. Sitting as a younger guy with my hot water bottle and a cup of tea, and on the sofa watching it, and you get that cozy feeling about it. And seeing it modern, it just hasn't got that cozy feeling. It's still a fantastic TV show, but
the Amanda's recommendation, we're going to watch season 1 of Danger 5 trailer and season 2.
Okay.
So. Okay.
All right, let's get straight to the biscuits. World War II. The Nazis are making their mark on Europe. Adolf Hitler wants to take the world and keep it all for himself. Hitler's days are numbered because Danger 5 are on the case.
Get your fascist mouth away from me!
You hit the wall!
I hit a Nazi!
Scouring the furthest corners of the globe to unravel Hitler's most sinister plans.
Now it looks like Hitler is using the bullion winnings from his casino to rearm the entire German army with superior golden superweapons made of gold.
Ilsa was married to Rommel.
I've been married to things a lot scarier than Nazis, my friend.
Marriage is a waste of time, if you ask me.
As long as this is intact, any organism as a crystal implant is completely under our control.
Und ich lade die Alliierten gerne dazu ein, ihn hier so weit unten zu finden.
Well, I guess you have no more mutants left for them to fight. You may as well pardon them.
Oh, I'll pardon them. I'll pardon them each in the face with my gun.
Wait! Don't! Гитлер и император используют это место для зомбирования людей. Здесь они превращают солдат-роботов. Так
Domo arigato.
Danger 5 is armed with a cast of powerful newcomers. David Ashby as Jackson, Aldo Mignone as Pierre, Sean James Murphy as Tucker, Natasha Ristich as Ilsa, Amanda Simons as Claire, and Carmine Rousseau as Adolf Hitler. Danger 5.
Okay, that was very good. I think I'll buy that.
Now check out series 2.
So was that the guy from The Devil's Chair and Darth Marenghi there doing the voiceover?
I don't think so. No, that was I think that was David Ashby, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, great.
But it is similar in tone to Garth Marenghi.
It had the same kind of vibe.
Last time, it was war. But this time,
I said sit down!
it's personal.
Danger 5 will hunt you down, you mother...
This Christmas, Adolf Hitler is back. All he wants is a date with world domination. But there's 5 things he didn't count on.
Hi, Hitler.
Danger 5 things.
Freeze, Hitler!
It can't be. Hitler's dead.
Yes, and Hitler never wore hats. Hitler does wear hats!
If Danger 5 are gonna kill Hitler, they've got to get back in business.
I'm not a spy anymore, Claire. Those days are long gone.
Back in shape.
Captain, the Nazis are back! They set me up! Shut up, you red piece of shit.
Back on the team.
У тебя сигарета есть?
No!
Back in action.
You left the jet! Goldie left the jet! Jet!
And back in time.
We're back in World War II! What the hell did you put in that time travel cocktail, Pierre?
Mozzarella, you can't go back in time without cheese!
This is gonna be a rough Christmas for Danger 5. Danger 5, Season 2.
I like it. I like that.
I love how the World War II is depicted as the 1960s, and the 1960s are depicted as the 1980s. It is quite genius.
Well, Hitler with 4 chainsaws looks fantastic in my book.
That's one of the writers, his dad, who's just this old Italian guy.
That's incredible. No, it looks fantastic.
This is me told off now.
No, don't you buy it?
That's me told off.
Well, you see that show, I've got that on Blu-ray and on DVD. I don't have many Blu-rays, but it's like, that's not the sort of show you should really probably watch on Blu-ray.
I don't know, like, it looks like it would be good in HD.
It kind of reminds me a wee bit of, Team America World Police a wee bit.
Yeah.
That kind of humor.
It's very Australian.
It's Australian. Okay.
I thought it had a bit of a Howling 3, the Marsupials vibe there. It looked
kind of rude in the background.
It looked a bit like some of Philip Morris madness, didn't it?
That was a good recommendation.
No, fantastic. I was Minty's been
okay. I won't buy it, Lexi. I won't buy it.
I'm good. Maybe it's after Christmas.
Yeah, maybe after Christmas.
I think there was an episode or 2 on YouTube, but I might be misremembering that.
We'll find a way. We'll find a way. Cinema Conversation does not condone.
So what have we covered so far? We've done Lex, we've done the X-Files, we've done
Round the Twist.
Round the Twist, we've done Danger 5.
Yeah.
What else? What's next? What's next on the chopping block?
Okay, back to you, John.
Sliders? Can you remember Sliders? Jerry O'Connell?
Yes.
John Rhys Davis? That was a big series for me. I used to love Sliders.
I do remember that.
It's like every other, I think it was every week I used to get it on Tuesday afternoons. It was on at like 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening. That was a show I really liked. And I did follow with Carrie. I think Carrie Wooler was in a few series, and it was a really interesting show because that was one of them where every week was different. It was, the only thing that tied the series together was that they were trying to get back to Earth.
Back to their Earth, yeah.
Well, back to Earth in their time because they were going through different dimensions. So it was Earth in their time.
But different multiverse, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I loved the fact that every week was something else. Like one week it was just looking at Danger 5. 1 week was like the Nazis had won the war. The next week was like dinosaurs were trying to kill them. The week after that was like they were in the 1950s. And it was similar to something like Quantum Leap, I guess, jumping on that kind of bandwagon. It was like that kind of TV series. I know that was a big one. I did really like Sliders. I remember like making an effort to watch that one.
Sliders it's been a while since I watched
Me too.
it.
But it was an important one, I think.
I got the impression it was they wanted to make a better show than they ended up making, but the studio was holding them back in various ways, and it really made them suffer.
Yeah, I heard that too.
There was a movie first. It was like a movie of the week, and the movie of the week did well, so they made a series of it. And it was I really love it. I do. I mean, is it even cult? I mean, because we all know it, but I mean, not many people. Obviously,
we're a different kind of group of people, so
we're a very certain group of people. Yes, we are. It's like if I'm down the pub and I mention Sliders, nobody knows it.
Yeah.
But that was an important one to me. It was, and whenever I think about special effects or I think about writing, I always thought that show was written really well. I did. It was like, but I do agree though, Diamanda. I think they were trying to do something way above their pay grade every week. Definitely. And it was, that was the CGI, and that was never good. It never was.
What kind of budget they had?
But like I say, I'm a sucker for anything, and I gave myself wholeheartedly every episode.
It's kind of weird that Jerry O'Connell went from, the nerd in one of the nerdier shows of the 90s, and most of his career since then has been playing various forms of meathead.
Oh, what about I love Joe's Apartment? Can you remember Joe's Apartment? with the singing cockroaches. I love that movie so much. Welcome to Joe's Apartment. All the little crazy singing cockroach. And Robert Vaughn is like the really kinky man. He's always got black leather on and stuff whenever I see him.
In this is just the examples I can think of off my top of my head.
Scream.
I think he was in Satanic Panic.
Yes.
Where he was.
His wife was too. I think she directed that movie. In fact.
Oh, yes.
He's also Star Trek Lower Decks.
Yes, Piranha 3DD and all that,
and Deep Murder.
Yes.
Where he's, where it's I don't know if the chat haven't seen Deep Murder. It is fantastic. It's basically a porno, but a slasher movie villain invades it, so the porn characters have to deal with the existence of death and try to stop the slasher.
It was he kind of. I saw him get interviewed not long ago on the Where Are They Now podcast thing to do. Because he ended up going into TV and becoming a TV presenter. He presents a really famous American TV show, almost like Good Morning America type show.
Oh,
I've never watched it myself, but that's what he does now. And it was like he said he never expected to do that, but luckily him and his wife have both been actors. They had a little bit of money and they could kind of go. But I think he's one of them actors who just had to take whatever was coming his way. He was Jerry O'Connell once upon a time. The kid from Stand By Me and the guy from Sliders. but then he kind of, I think he dropped off the Hollywood radar for a little bit and started doing movies like Joe's Apartment and Kangaroo Jack and them kind of things.
Yeah.
But he's had a bit of a comeback, definitely, especially in television.
Minty
says there, I've been watching Hunter, the TV series lately. It is good fun.
Me too.
It's the Pacino show.
No, I think this is the old one on Shout Factory on YouTube. I think that's the one. Is that the one you mean, Minty? Because I've been watching.
I think it is. Yeah,
because Shout Factory they've been doing Renegade and stuff. I've been watching loads of old shows.
So that's Sliders.
That's Sliders.
Abruptly ended. Okay.
Cult show that people might not be aware of. Brimstone.
I've heard of it. I think
Brimstone. That rings a bell. That.
Yeah.
Brimstone came out. It came out the year before Angel did, and it's basically a very similar idea. And it's okay. You got a police officer. His wife gets raped, and then he kills the guy who did it because he got away with it. He got like freed or something, and then he gets gunned down while doing his job like a year later.
That rings a bell. That really rings a bell.
And then he's sent to hell. And eventually a bunch of damned souls escape hell, get up to earth. And so the devil, played by John Glover, basically is like, okay, dude, I'm sending you back to earth and you have to kill those demons, those damn souls, send them back to hell. And, in exchange, I'll let you come back to life to get yourself a chance to get to heaven again. It only lasted for like half a season and it was so canceled that they actually stopped filming it halfway through, like at lunchtime, while halfway through an episode that they were filming, and that one would have involved an IRA lady from hell.
Yes,
but
I know the show. I've just Googled it. I know the one you mean. Yes.
It is fantastic, and it's never had a physical release, a proper physical release. It's had never VHS, DVD, whatever. For some reason, they refused to do it, and then Reaper basically remade it as a Kevin Smith version of it.
Mm-hmm.
But if I remember correctly, the closest thing to an official release that Brimstone ever had was like a very, very basically a bootleg version, which was sold in Comic-Con, like in the year 2000. But Brimstone, I am vaguely obsessed with it just because it's so hard to find
with
to see
Peter
copies
Horton
of it.
and Laurie Petty as well. I mean, that's a bit of a great cast.
That is a good cast.
I mean, Peter Horton's Children of the Corn. He's like singles. Peter Horton had his moment in the sun, man. He was a big deal for a while.
Yeah. But yeah, it's not a great show. It's a fascinatingly 1990s show, though.
The devil coming to get. How many shows have featured the devil? There's been so many, right? Like devil. I mean, talking about Preacher and stuff, and other shows as well. And you've got like
Preacher, yes.
I mean, there's been plenty where the devil's kind of been involved somewhere. I mean, they tried to do Constantine as a TV series a while back, didn't they?
Yep.
It didn't quite work, but it was okay. And then
Lucifer.
Yeah, they did try to do Preacher, but Preacher was not the comics at all when they did the series. But the devil's been involved in a lot of TV shows.
And Lucifer and Sandman technically are the same version of the devil, just one's Gwendolyn Christie and one's Tom, what do you call him?
Yes.
Can you remember American Gothic? It only ran for one season.
I remember its existence, but I never saw it.
I was obsessed with that one. That was kind of like the devil in Midtown America. Like it's a beautiful. I really recommend it. It was there's only one season, but
was there a devil surrogate or substitute in American Gods?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't recall.
I know, like Odin was Ian McShane, so.
But Mr. World was Loki, and Loki, especially later on, is a devil version sometimes in Norse myth, but it's kind of the Christian influence on it, though.
Okay, just thinking, like, but yeah, the devil has been involved in a lot of TV shows. And
it's just interesting because it seems like the 90s, especially. Shows were a lot darker than they are now. I mean, I mean, there's been a couple, right? There's a couple.
I think, John.
There's a couple of darker shows now, but they're more like the Jeffrey Dahmer story or something that they do.
Oh yeah.
That kind of dark. They're not darkness of the imagination type dark, like Lex was, for example, or like Millennium was, or like it was a different kind of humor, I think.
Millennium. I think there's been darker shows than Millennium, but Millennium, it did all the dark stuff, but without anything light. Except it was in series 2 that developed a sense of humor, but in series 1 of Millennium, it was like just pitch dark, no humor at all.
Oh well, Frank Black didn't even want to be Frank Black in the first season. He didn't even like who he was himself.
Yeah, it was, what do you call him? The guy who created Breaking Bad worked on Millennium. And he said basically Millennium was a great teaching thing for writing about how you need to have levity in your scripts.
Yeah. I mean, just Lance Henriksen's such. I mean, if I was to have to desert island, top 10 actors, he'd be in my top 10 actors. I've never seen him give a bad performance. I mean, I just saw him not just saw him. This is an older film. Viggo Mortensen directed a movie called Falling, and Lance Henriksen played his dad. And man, it was one of the best performances I've ever seen. He should have got an Oscar for that, Gary. It was so good.
I think wasn't Viggo.
So if Viggo's his gay son, he comes back home, his dad's kind of dying, and they have this. It was just I think it was the first movie Viggo Mortensen directed. I think.
Yeah, I think it was 2021 was it came out.
And that's why I bought it. It was like off the bat because Viggo was one of my favorite actors too. And I was like, oh, cool, man. Viggo's directing movies. I'll buy that. But Lance Henriksen was so powerful in it. And I mean, but he always is. I mean, Piranha 2, one of the best films of all time. Lance Henriksen totally nails that cop in that, And I mean, Terminator. Who remembers Arnold Schwarzenegger? We all remember Lance Henriksen in Terminator. I mean, it's like, and I mean, Damien, The Omen 2. Lance Henriksen, he's right there, man.
Yeah, he was in that.
He's just there randomly. I watched last night while I was working on a video. I watched Network for the first time. Lance Henriksen, he's there. I don't think he says anything.
Oh,
He's
he
just
doesn't,
there.
No, he doesn't. He's just a cop at the
pops up.
airport, isn't he? In fact, it's so good.
No, he was a cop at the airport in Dog Day Afternoon.
Dog Day Afternoon. Same director though, right? Sidney Lumet.
Yes.
Yeah, Sidney Lumet. Yeah, Network, and he's a random lawyer in Network.
Network's really cool in it. It really is cool.
I'm mad as hell.
Right.
I just can't take it anymore.
I mean, that whole cast, man. That bit when Faye Dunaway just says to William Holden, "I've got what I need from you. Catch you later." It's like it's so good, isn't it? Do you not think that?
Oh yeah, it was. I'd never
really
seen it till I never watched it till then, and honestly, I was a bit surprised. I assumed that I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. I had assumed that was going to be at the end. He was going to be a breakdown at the end, and then I was so surprised when that happened about a quarter of the way through, and I was like, "Where's this going to go?" Because I had no idea. It was fascinating.
Do you actually, on a personal level, Diamanda, do you remember someone that I'm not sure you know the guy, but Connor Kelly? Would you have heard that name in the past?
I don't recognize it. Should I?
Well, he did a song, filmed in the streets. I'm mad as hell and I just can't take it anymore. Basically, it was kind of a left-leaning socialist song.
Oh, you mean when I? Oh no, that I was thinking about Twisted Sister. Sorry.
Oh no.
I was just about when
this is another guy
anymore.
the same time.
A
Long time ago.
In a galaxy.
I worked with his mother, and she promoted the single on Radio Ulster and all that. So.
Oh, cool.
Very nice.
Big time, and yeah, I'll play the song for you off stream so you can hear it.
Oh yeah, send me a link to it. I'll happily listen to it.
Yeah, it's dated a bit, but it's because it's referencing former Taoiseachs and prime ministers. So,
well, everything we've talked about already, it's already starting to get dated a bit, isn't it? I mean,
well, I think we're focusing on the 90s at the minute.
It is, isn't it? Most of the shows we've talked. God, how high did my voice get there? It is, isn't it? Every show we've talked about so far.
It's Mickey Boneyard.
But every show
we gotta get weirder than the 90s. We gotta think of something,
we've got to think of something weirder, haven't we?
Okay, how about
I'll give you an example of something weird from the 90s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cleopatra 2525.
How did you guess?
Is that what it was going to be?
No. A show called Podge and Raj.
But I've never seen that.
Oh, that's one of the RTE ones. It's the puppets.
Yes. Oh, it was mad. It's totally mad. They're all on YouTube if you want to watch them.
I'll check it out.
I'll send you a link, John. Yeah. Basically, it was like two puppets called Podge and Raj. They're twin brothers, and they're just basically vulgar and disgusting humor, but it's really good. But to tell a story, it's basically a scared bedtime. The show is called. Normally, Podge tells Raj the story of somebody. Basically, it's innuendos driven, and it's but it's the humor. It's just so dark.
Oh well, that's my kind of humor.
And it's
a little bit of dark humor.
150 episodes of pure 90s cheese from RTE.
Podge and Raj.
I'll send you the link later on. But that's that would be my second pick. Probably not well known outside Ireland, possibly.
I've never. That's great. I've got Mud to check out. I've got Podge and Raj to check out.
Yeah.
So that's two great recommendations for me so far.
And Danger 5.
Danger 5, of course.
I've seen it. I seen Podge and Raj. I suspect I wasn't the right age for it because I recall not being very impressed by it, but I definitely remember it.
But if I can just get up for a second.
Well, we've talked about, we've done Lex, we've mentioned DS9, Babylon 5.
That's the
Sliders. Alien Nation. Alien Nation was a good one. Podge and Raj.
That's the DVD of the series.
1997.
Yeah, to 2006. So
if you remember Zig and Zag from The Big Breakfast,
yes,
it's the same people.
Yes,
oh, cool.
Yeah.
I remember Zig and Zag really well.
Yeah, they got their the characters got to start on the Den, which was where Zig and Zag got their start. So
that was Johnny Vaughan and Denise Van Outen time.
Yes,
around that time,
and I think shortly after Paula Yates passed, so they introduced Zig and Zag.
Oh, that was a big loss. She was class, Paula Yates.
So,
I mean, there was. Would you class she was like bottom as cult with Rick Meal and Adrian Edmondson? And
for Americans, it would be.
Yeah, for Americans, yeah.
Because I mean, that was a show I watched every Friday. Like every Friday. I mean, same with the young ones. I mean, I was a little bit too young for the young ones the first time around, but so I was like kind of bottom age. But I remember finding the young ones after I saw bottom and watching their other stuff after that.
Right.
And that was through BBC Two or BBC Television.
Yeah, then there's also the other one they did, Filthy Rich and Cat Flap.
Yes, right. Filthy Rich and Cat Flap, and the new Statesman as well. Rick Meal.
What was he?
Although the New Statesman with very minimal rewriting could have been a Blackadder show.
Oh, definitely. Was it not Ben Elton involved as well?
No, I think it was the other two guys who were writing it. It was these guys who wrote other sitcoms, and it was their only thing worth mail, I think. The David Croft and stuff like that, those ones.
It was excellent. I do like the New Statesman a lot. I still watch that quite often. It was a really great TV show, that. But I mean, that was a whole they kind of owned TV for that time, didn't they? Rick Meal and all them. I mean, there was Alexi Sale, and there was some great shows.
I do like the young ones on the bottom a lot.
Right. But I mean, it was 80s TV shows. Is V considered cult?
Oh yeah. I mean, it was a massive phenomenon at the time, but it's fallen off the map.
Because I mean, I remember. I mean, this is when I was a kid. I remember my parents watching V like religiously, and I was watching it with them when it was on TV. So I remember it was a big deal at the time.
Yeah, it was. It was massive, especially in its initial miniseries.
Yeah.
I got an idea for a cult one, which I'm gonna go into the obscure part of my memory.
Okay.
The Corridor People.
I don't know that one either.
This is a 1960s anti-sitcom. It starts off with a typical UK at the time sitcom. The main character decides that he's had enough of it and he leaves the set. The camera follows him, leaving all the other characters, complaining about this. And the camera just follows him as he wanders. Not the corridor. This is Gurney Slade. The Adventures of Gurney Slade. Corridor People was also very weird. But Gurney Slade, he's just wandering around London, being followed by a camera, getting into bizarre adventures, like bringing a woman from an advertisement back to life, bringing her to life, and she's dragging a vacuum because she was, selling out vacuums. So they go off and have dates and stuff, and the vacuum is her baby and stuff like that. It's like David Lynch crossed with Monty Python.
Two of my favorite things. So yes, I'll take that.
And that was The Adventures of Gurney Slade.
I believe that's on YouTube.
I'll check that one out too. I need to write all these down.
I'll rewatch the stream.
Right.
I remember, like, episode 4 of this actually has the main character being put on trial for being in a comedy show with no humor in it.
That sounds great as well. I mean, the shows. I remember being infatuated with Ally McBeal for the first season, and then it just went totally rubbish, I thought. I mean, that was the one where I thought the first season was brilliant, and after that it went terrible. But I mean, because nobody now seems to have heard of Ally McBeal.
What?
It was totally of its time, that, I think.
Seriously? Nobody's heard of it?
I mean, when was the last time you mentioned Ally McBeal to somebody, though, and they knew what you were talking about? Like when you talked about the dancing baby or the guy with a knee pit or the other things.
To be fair, Millennium did a riff on the dancing baby thing. So
I do remember that.
So by 6 Degrees of Separation, we discussed Ally McBeal when discussing Millennium.
That's incredible. That's incredible. You heard it here first on Cinema Conversations.
Yeah, it was the one about the devils, the demons complaining about Frank Black. One of them made someone see the dancing baby, but as a devil, and it made him commit murder.
That may be the defining episode of my life. It seems to have just come back again and again. Excuse me for a second. I've just run out of. I just need to grab another can, so I'll be 2 seconds.
Okay, no worries.
Talk about is all you want.
Okay. I was just I looked on Wikipedia there. Strange World of Gurney Slade is only 6 episodes.
Yeah, it's classic sort of UK, very few episodes type thing, but it is incredibly bizarre. It is one of the weirdest shows I've ever seen, and
That's
you know I've seen a lot of weird shite.
Yeah, well, I like weird shit too. So Lexi can testify, but she's not. I don't think she's in the chat now at the minute. She'll tell me off even more now.
But the Corridor People is one I got mixed up with. It's a very surreal, like secret agent show.
Mm-hmm.
It is just, or is it crime? It's very bizarre. It's also on YouTube.
That's good. I'm just thinking, you know, when you said surreal crime comedy, I think I was thinking like as well. We'll get back with when John, but I was thinking of a show from the 60s as well. The initials GS.
GS.
Mel Brooks.
Oh, Get Smart.
Yes.
Get Smart's fun.
I'd call that cult.
Yeah, it was successful at the time, and it's sort of cult is one of those things that's a very nebulous term.
Yeah,
especially in entertainment. Like, I remember Chris Barry got really upset with people calling Red Dwarf cult.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, he just felt that he was too successful to be cult, and because it is a very nebulous term that can mean various things. So it's very hard to define.
I just caught the end of that, but I totally agree. It is cult is hard to define.
Yeah, I was just saying like Get Smart would be another pick of mine.
Well, that's a great. I mean, that's a great show. It is. Get Smart was great, but again, I mean, if, like cult, they did that movie with the guy who caught with The Office, the Brick.
Oh, Ricky Gervais.
So the guy did the Get Smart movie from that. You remember who played Brick in Anchorman?
Steve Carell.
He did a movie, Get Smart.
Oh, I remember the movie wasn't very good.
Awful. It was awful. Really awful.
And then you got the pop culture descent thing. Get Smart was the inspiration for Inspector Gadget.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember
cartoons. Sorry, go ahead, John.
No, go ahead, Gary. I've totally.
I was just going to say, like, speaking of cartoons, so to speak, any cult favorites in cartoon world?
Oh man, I mean, any Hanna-Barbera cartoon. I grew up watching all the Hanna-Barbera ones, like the Moomins and Captain Caveman and Hair Bear Bunch and Wacky Races, everything. That I love the Snorks. I still love the Snorks. I watch the Snorks every opportunity I get. I love all that stuff.
I think for me, like, I suppose it wouldn't be cult as such, but like I grew up with He-Man and She-Ra and the Thundercats, but that's not really cult. That would be more mainstream.
Thundercats are hoes.
Yeah, well, I heard that joke too. I used to say that.
But I don't know if it counts as cartoon, given that a lot of it's puppetry, but Round the Bend.
Yes. Good choice. I love that show. Doc Croc and...
Quite why that never got a physical release, I don't understand.
That still hasn't had a physical release.
No,
as far as I know.
That's crazy.
Oh, that would be brilliant.
So many classics these children will never know.
No. But no, Round the Bend, definitely cult, in my opinion, yeah. I love the little gags and the kind of, like Paul's teeth from Beyond the Stars and
Transformeroids, totally useless objects from in disguise.
Yeah. And David Cole Mold's Sports Round or whatever it's called. You know, and then Vince Vernon, doing his bad jokes. No, that's one show that I absolutely love. So,
did you watch Captain Planet? I used to like Captain Planet.
yes,
That was one
I
I liked.
recall Captain Planet. Do you remember the episode where they went to Northern Ireland?
yes,
Yes.
controversial is what?
I do, but nobody seems to remember that now either. I used to have the little figures where his head flipped around and everything. I was a big Captain
All right.
fan.
And turned you into a tree?
I think, speaking of Captain Planet, I do think, I think.
Oh, sorry,
Wheeler was his
son.
son.
There. I hope nobody heard that.
Was it Wheeler, the American guy? Was it Wheeler? Was that his name?
Yeah,
that sounds about right.
I think that was his son, Captain Planet's son. Or his
no,
twin brother.
Captain Planet was created by the power of the rings.
I know. I know that. But I'm trying to
Okay.
be presentation.
In fact, I used to have
Same animation kind of.
I had one of the rings when I was a kid, like the toys used to get. I was a big Captain Planet fan.
Which one did you have? Fire, water, earth?
I can't remember. It was that long ago. I had that, and I also had a little suit of this is the voice of the Mysterons. What do you call them?
Oh, Captain Scarlet.
Captain Scarlet. I had the little gun where you held the trigger and it shined the 2 Mysteron dots.
Yeah.
You're not going to reach and grab a ring, are you, Diamanda?
I think she is,
Oh my
Okay, if we're
God.
talking about obscure cartoons,
Oh, okay. Cool.
I
Cool.
have to my side up there a complete set of Toxic Crusaders.
Oh,
Woo,
get it.
Toxie.
Toxie.
Awesome. Very good.
Collected over many years. I would see in Leicester, there's a great secondhand toy shop. And I would go to Leicester every year, and I would always go in there. And to begin with, I was collecting GoBots because,
That's a ring.
and Rock Lords. And then I was like Toxic Crusaders. And I have and thanks also to some donations from people, I have a complete set of Toxic Crusaders over there.
What's in the shop in Leicester? Give us a shout out.
I can't remember the name of it. Is it like the old toy shop, something like that? I'll look it up. I'll let you know.
It's so crazy to pick Toxie to make a kids' TV series out of. Who did?
Oh, they did, yeah. I remember that.
But why? I mean, who thought? Oh, yeah, that sounds good.
It was Roger Corman. You don't know that. It was Trauma
No,
Vision.
I did not know Roger Corman. It was his idea to make the TV show. I know that Kaufman did the movie, but that's crazy.
No, I'm saying it would, probably because it was Trauma. So, Traumaville.
But then that was the same with the mask. The mask was so adult, and for them to make the mask into a kids' TV show was totally crazy.
Oh, the shop was called Leicester Vintage, and it's still there.
Cool. Well, next time I'm in Birmingham, I'll get the train to Leicester and check it out.
I remember I was hanging out with Ashens, in Leicester. I told him about the toy shop, and he went over there, and he must have dropped about £700 worth. I watched one of his video, and he showed his haul of what he got there. He got a huge pile of random stuff. I was so proud.
I've just been before the stream tonight. I was just fixing. I'm so gutted about this. I've got a few figures back there, and I've got the Hare Krishna zombie from Dawn of the Dead. and the other week, a friend of mine came round, and she was like, "Do you mind if I pick them up?" I was like, "Yeah." Broke his glasses, and I was like, "Oh my God!" But I've just glued them back together tonight, and that's literally what I was doing before the stream. I was gluing back together the glasses from the Hare Krishna zombie on Dawn of the Dead. You can't see them behind us there on the shelf, but either there.
Oh yeah, I can see some figures. Yeah,
I've got 2 of them. I still need Flyboy, but it's about $800 now. It's ridiculous to get that one.
The when it comes to back to Toxie, I don't know if this is worth anything, but I've got the DVD box set, which is all the original Toxic Avenger films and the Toxic Crusaders, and it's signed by both Lloyd Kaufman and the Toxic Avenger. Because I got it at Trauma Dance.
That's even more priceless.
Very good.
That's incredible.
That's Trauma Dance 2012. Hilariously, in this one, James Gunn turned up as the surprise guest, and he did it. He was there, and Lloyd Kaufman did this big speech because the Avengers had just opened up in the United States. And so he did this big speech about how the Avengers has to fail because if it succeeds, if they won't make real movies about anything ever again. It'll be terrible and evil. And James Gunn is looking so uncomfortable and so terrified. And then he takes the mic and he's like, Lloyd, I want you to know that the Marvel, they're good people. I know some people involved in it. These are good people. And then, of course, he signed up for Guardians of the Galaxy, and Lloyd Kaufman's in Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's funny. But
James Gunn wrote Romeo and Juliet.
Yes.
Yeah. And he I didn't have I left my copy. If they'd announced he was going to be there, I would have brought my copy of Romeo and Juliet because it was in the hotel. But it was like last year or the year before. James Gunn announced, or a couple of years ago, James Gunn announced that this is 10 years since I gave my pitch to Guardians of the Galaxy. And I was like, wait a sec. And I looked up the date of the thing, and it turns out he had done his pitch the day that had all happened. So I was like, that's why you were so terrified. You'd literally got him pitched for them, and then you're standing beside them. Yes. And I was like, oh, that is fantastic. I wish I had a video of it. That was so funny.
You never know who's watching. You should never slag people off because you never know who's watching. There's a great story. There's a YouTuber who does music. He's like one of the biggest YouTube guys. I can't remember what his name is now. But he was in a band called Billionaire. And Creed were big at the time. Mm-hmm. And Creed's manager was in town. And Billionaire had a gig the same night as Creed. And anyway, Creed's manager had said, I'm going to come down and check out Billionaire because I'm in town and they're a pretty hot band at the minute. And the lead singer of Billionaire was drunk and was slagging off Creed, said, how many of y'all been to see Creed tonight? We're 10 times better. Creed was sitting at the end of the bar after the gig, and it turned out that band Billionaire never really worked again. It was I wish I could remember the guy's name. It's Rick Beato, the really famous YouTube music guy. He was in Billionaire. Watch the episode, everybody. Honestly, I've got nothing to do. I'm not affiliated with Rick Beato, but it's a great episode, and he's just saying, be careful what you say. Because one day we griefed Creed and they were sitting in the bar that we were griefing them in. I was like, oh my God. And they never worked again. I was just like, oh man, that was awful. Oh, I know. I felt so sorry for them just because the lead singer got drunk. But yeah.
But, it proves his point about Creed, that they apparently, someone took it so seriously.
Mm. I mean, video, so we'll watch it later.
So, what about Space Precinct? Were you fans of Space Precinct?
Oh, I've got that on DVD. It's great.
I'm a big fan of Space Precinct. Like huge.
The guy, one of the guys from it, not one of the humans, not the police captain, but the other alien sort of sub guy.
Yeah.
He's one of the co-presenters on the official Jerry Anderson podcast.
Oh wow.
Him and Jerry Anderson's youngest son do it. And so, they discuss all stuff about various things, but sometimes Space Precinct comes up and he tells inside stories.
It was, I met one of the guys, I was teaching, and I met one of the guys who used to make the models for it. He was a technician teaching technical advice, and he talked about meeting Anderson, and it was so incredible. I mean, they used some of the craft from Blade Runner for the cars in the original Space Precinct series, and he was saying that
the hover cars.
Yeah, the hovercop cars. And he was saying that they kind of took them and just modified them a bit because it was so low budget they couldn't really make stuff from scratch. And it was really interesting to hear him talk about it. He also worked on Space Truckers, the Stuart Gordon film, and he was telling us about doing the...
Oh, Space Truckers is so good.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it, Diamanda? I'm forever telling people how good Space Truckers is. Charles Dance.
I can't remember.
Starting his penis like a chainsaw is amazing.
Oh, it's the
Dennis Hopper's defining role. Never mind Easy Rider. Space Truckers all the way.
And it was and that was filmed in Ireland.
Aye. Well, the guy was he worked in the UK, the model maker. He was fantastic to speak to him. But it was so great. He was telling us about how the beginning of Space Truckers, how they made it, when it goes through the kind of asteroid at the beginning and then so they built all that, like the model of the asteroid. And that was fantastic because it was one of the last movies to really use all that kind of stuff. Because he was saying at that time it was kind of more in favor of Lex and CGI. But it said it was so great to work on Space Truckers with Stuart Gordon in the UK and Ireland because they were using all the old style special effects still.
Awesome.
But yeah,
so
great,
good.
man.
It's missing a Jeffrey Combs cameo.
It is indeed. I mean, for my money, Stu Gordon's best film is Fortress, and I love Jeffrey Combs in Fortress. I think he's amazing in that film.
No love for Reanimator?
Oh, of course. I love
it is the obvious thing, though.
Oh no, I love Robot Jocks too. I love Daughter of Darkness. I love King of the Ants. I love all the Stu Gordon's movies. I really do.
Then okay. How do you feel about his entry into the Alien universe?
Which one was that one?
He directed the first piece of alien media, as in xenomorph alien media, that can be described as a movie that had a male lead.
I didn't know this.
And that male lead is Jeffrey Combs.
No way. In Alien.
It came out in 1994. This is Aliens, the ride at the speed of fright. It is a simulator ride. And you basically, Jeffrey Combs is playing a Marine, the only survivor of like a team of Marines, gets back, meets up with other Marines, and then they go down to try and rescue the other Marines or kill some aliens, and it becomes a simulator ride. It's 8 minutes long. It is technically a short film, but it is technically alien media that can be described as a film, and Combs is basically playing Hudson.
Mind blown.
It is not good, but it is interesting and exists.
If it's Stuart Gordon, I'll watch it. I love.
There's a copy on YouTube.
I'll check it out. I'm going to write that down as well. So Aliens, what was it, Diamanda? Aliens.
Ride at the speed of fright.
Ride at the speed of fright. Because Combs is amazing, man. But I mean, I love him in Fortress. I just think Fortress is so underrated. I mean, obviously, people of our generation remember it because the video was everywhere in rental stores. But it's such an incredible. I mean, you've got. What do you call him? My mind's so blank now, but Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer, Tom Towles. You've got, it's such a great cast. It really is. You've got Kurtwood Smith playing the flipping guy upstairs. It's such a good movie.
It's a little bit of a tragedy too, though, because that was originally meant to star Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was meant to have a much bigger budget. Then Arnie left to do something else, and it's just. Stuart Gordon is a lot like Guillermo del Toro and Peter Jackson.
I'd say better than both of those directors. I think he's better than both of those filmmakers.
But unlike them, Stuart Gordon never got to make his big escaping from genre movie film. He never got to make his version of Heavenly Creatures or whatever,
or Music of the Heart and Wes Craven or whatever.
And so he got stuck in that. Every time he came close, it basically fell apart. Either with Arnie leaving in Fortress, or the fact that I believe he got sick when he was right before he was meant to direct Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah, he did.
It's just it's a tragedy.
It is, but I love the work he left us. I really do. And I mean, he's no slacker in terms of, directing Anthony Perkins, or he could handle that. And I remember Combs talking about the theater that they came from, because obviously Stu Gordon owned his own theater and he used the theater stock, the actors, to make his movies. He started off in kind of 60s avant-garde experimental theater, and you can really feel that in his movies. It's so loose and so cool, and I just love his stuff, man. I mean, Space Truckers I know we're supposed to be talking about TV shows, but Space Truckers is such a seminal movie in my life because it was like that was the big time for Stuart Gordon, And I remember coming out and going to see it and thinking, Stuart Gordon's the big time. He's got Dennis Hopper, he's got Stephen Dorff, he's got Debbie Mazar. It was a big deal, for us fans of him, wasn't it? It was like, wow. And it blew my mind. It still does.
Oh, it's fantastic.
But I love him. That Stephen Ray and Mina Savari movie he did, Stuck, where Stephen Ray is stuck in the windscreen of the car. It was like nothing he did was ever half-assed. It was always well-directed. The lighting was so theatrical and beautiful, and I love him. I really do. As a director, fantastic.
And if you watch the Aliens Ride at the Speed of Fright, you'll notice that in several shots, because they didn't have the budget for an actual xenomorph properly, they used footage from the film. But
Cool.
there are occasionally times where they have to double footage from the film with an action figure, and it almost works.
I can imagine he can make anything work, man. It was the only I'll never forget. I was on a date and we went to see Castle Freak, and
That is such not a date movie.
I know. Well, the moment the girl reached down and touched you know where, my date just kind of went, right, I'm out. That's it. I'm gone. And I went, I'm going to stay. And I stayed and watched the rest of the movie. Because I really wanted this. It was a Stuart Gordon film. I was like, I'm going to stay.
And she's here tonight.
Next time, take a date to society like a normal person.
I know.
That's a good show.
You want to get some ass at the end of the night? That's the one.
Hopefully, yeah.
Well, I know it was fantastic. I'll never forget it. You know, when she reaches down, and obviously there's nothing there because it's been sliced off. Like, that's it, I'm gone. And I was like, I'm gonna stay. I'm really into this. But no, I love Stuart Gordon so. I mean, even in the Masters of Horror that Mick Garris put together, when he did Witch House and stuff, he was, speaking of TV, cult TV, Masters of Horror is cult TV, I guess.
Yeah.
But it was, he was the underrated one out of all of those. He really was, because you had Argento, you had Carpenter, you had all those guys coming back. Joe Dante did that great Homecoming episode. But his Lovecraft, the Tale of Witch House, was great in that Masters of Horror series.
It has one flaw.
The talking rat.
No, he's fine. That Brown Jenkins is a Lovecraft character.
Fantastic. I know.
Did you ever see The Evil Clergyman?
Yes, I did.
Because he was also in that. But the one flaw in Witch House is that Jeffrey Combs wasn't in it. He was meant to play the old Russian guy who commits suicide.
Was he?
But he had to drop out at some point. He had to drop out for some reason.
Well, he did get to play the werewolf Nazi guy in the Nazi werewolf episode. But to be fair, like, that's a big problem with everything. There's not enough Jeffrey Combs in it.
There are 2 dedicated Jeffrey Combs podcasts.
I totally just messed up. That was Creepshow when he played the Nazi general, the Creepshow TV show. With the werewolves.
The other Masters of Horror was The Black Cat.
Oh yes, the Black Cat. Where he played Paul. That was fantastic as well. He's so great, man. Can you remember when he was in Faust for Brian Yuzna? When he played the cop, that was so good.
I never got that one. But whenever he randomly turned evil and he was covered in mud, and that was proper Combs. But Combs is my favorite actor. But having him play the hard-nosed, hard-bitten cop,
with a leather jacket and everything.
It was just ridiculous because Combs just plays camp bastards.
I know he does.
Camp mental bastards, camp slimy bastards, whatever. It's always camp and a bastard. That guy was neither camp nor a bastard until the very end when he got covered in mud and decided to,
become
eat snakes and stuff. That's good. But until then, I was just like, nah, I'm not invested in you. That should have been Lance Henriksen.
That would have been great. But I really liked Faust. I thought it was good. But I am a big Yuzna fan. I really do like Yuzna. I think he's great. Especially that was Return of the Living Dead 3, right? That Yuzna did, the third one? Yeah. And now he did Bride of Reanimator as well.
Yeah, and Beyond.
Oh, Beyond was great. The one in Spain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fantastic, Beyond.
Unfortunately, Spain was meant to be Massachusetts.
I know, it didn't. I remember watching it and thinking, "Oh yeah, this is." I thought it was meant to be in Spain, and then when I saw the sign for the asylum, I was like, "This is meant to be in America." I just imagined that he'd left and he'd been imprisoned in another country,
I'm baffled as to why they didn't just have him leave and then go say to Arizona or something and just set it there, because then at least the Spanish accents make a little more sense.
He made he made a production company right in Spain, Yuzna. He made like 4 or 5 films there.
Yeah, Fantastic Factory. I got the box set over there.
Yes, Fantastic Factory. Yes.
Yeah, Faust was one of them as well.
I really like Faust. It was.
I thought Faust was fine. It was just I felt Jeffrey Combs was miscast until the very end.
He did. Minty's just saying there in the chat. He did some great horrors. Brian Yuzna is so cool, man. He's just. I like to hear him talk. He's like a really interesting guy to listen to.
Like Brian Yuzna, him and Stuart Gordon, because I feel they have such similar filmographies and they work together so often. I generally view them almost as one director, Stuart Usna.
I agree. I know what you mean.
Gordon, no?
Although I'm not sure Yuzna could have made Robot Jocks.
That's a good show.
But I do love Yuzna, and it's there was a. I just there's a channel I love on YouTube, Planet CHH, and he interviewed him, and he seems like such a cool guy. He really does. I mean, so did Stuart Gordon, but they're all of that kind of hippie generation, aren't they? They're all pretty laid back guys.
Yeah. I watched a new Combs last night while editing, but right before watching Network, Stream.
I've never seen that one.
Stream. It's not only got him, it's got Tim Curry and Tony Todd and Bill Moseley are all in it too, although they all have cameos.
Bill Moseley's so underrated. He's one of my favorites. I wish he'd gotten more leading man performances.
He is good.
I love Bill Moseley.
But with Stream, you can tell that Combs is evil. Okay, Combs has got a mustache, which if you know your Combs movies, that means he's A, rich, B, torture is going to be involved, and C, people are going to be trapped in a single location.
So that was the Lovecraft one that did when they're all stuck in the church. With the was it Lurking Fear?
Oh, it's been ages since I saw Lurking Fear.
Because he's got the mustache and that, and you just know that at some point it's gonna. Was it Lurking Fear? I'm gonna have to Google it. I'm sure it was Lurking Fear.
After we watched Lurking Fear, because I'm working on this theory that he's always rich and people trapped in a location with his mustache, and if he's clean shaven, it's sci-fi or horror.
That was him. He was Dr. Haggis in the Lurking Fear. or he's got the little tash in there. Did the remake of House on Haunted Hill, and he pops up as the crazy doctor.
Yeah, but he also owns the house. He owns the house, so he was a rich ghost. And would you rather? He's got the mustache.
Yeah, man, I love
dark house. He's got the mustache. He's not evil in that, but he's responsible for all the torture that happens.
He is. Do you think he's going for the whole Vincent Price?
Yeah, Dark House is totally just his version of he's playing Mr. Price from House on Haunted Hill. That's his version.
I did love those movies, man. That what were they called? Was it Dark Horse Productions did when they did the remakes?
Dark Castle.
Dark Castle. Yeah. I really liked it. I love that remake of House on Haunted Hill. I thought in fact, apart from the Crazies, I think it's one of my favorite remakes. And that's saying a lot because I really love the original. I think it's a beautiful film, the William Castle film.
Oh wait! I checked Lurking Fear. He's got a beard. So yeah, when I'm in my Jeffrey Combs code,
it's got to be
conspiracy theory. It's just a mustache. If he's got a full beard, I haven't worked out what that signifies yet, but I will.
Well, let us know. I'd love to know when you find out. That's gonna be great. I need to watch Lurking Fear again. I haven't seen that for years either.
Have you ever seen Sharkman?
Yes, Sharkman.
It's so bad, but he is amazing.
Well, it's just one of them actors that if it's a bit like Rutger Hauer. If his name's on it, I'll buy it and watch it. Jeffrey Combs is one of those actors. He is. If he's in it, I'll watch it.
Damn right.
There was a great not too long ago he did with Barbara Crampton. Those guys who did Dead Meat do a podcast now. And they had Barbara Crampton as one of the presenters. She comes on and presents with them. And she got Combs on as a guest. And just the two of them shooting the breeze was fantastic. Just to see Barbara Crampton, and they were talking about Reanimator and stuff. And she was talking about, it was great. I mean, did you see her on the, recently the guy who played Lex Luthor in the TV series Smallville? He's got his own.
Oh, yeah.
He's got his own podcast now.
Michael Glover, isn't it? Is that him?
I can't remember what his name is. I'm sorry, I can't. But
Michael Rosenbaum.
Rosenbaum. Rosenbaum. So he got Barbara Crampton on his show, and it was a fantastic interview. I mean, like one of the best she's done because she produces and directs now. And he was talking to her about nudity in film, and he was like, "So do you like to see it? Am I allowed to see things carry on this like?" Sexual. So he was saying, "What do you like to see penises and stuff on screen?" She was like, "Of course I do." She was like, but she was like, "I was naked, and now I'm producing films. If I'll ask the guy, will you take your pants off?" And he says, "Yes, I'll get him to take his pants off." But it was such a great interview with her because she was so candid about the nudity and stuff what you did, and I really recommend it for Crampton fans. It was a really good interview.
It was really wonderful when she started getting her renaissance. Jacob's wife and stuff.
I know
and the
with Larry
gay-
Fessenden, man, that was amazing. I've been a Larry Fessenden fan since I can remember.
Have you seen Onyx the Fortuitous? Okay, Carrie, trailer. Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls.
That sounds fantastic already. That sounds like it should be that sounds like a Lovecraft story.
This has Combs and Crampton in it.
Oh my god, I should have seen this already. Where have I been?
This came out 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
And it's based on an internet character.
Right.
From an internet like episode?
I was like, it's something that I completely missed until I saw the film, but it was this guy would take viral news clips and he would edit this character into it as though he's being interviewed about it, and he would just come up with really weird like ideas about what was going on in the thing, like say the car crash, and then he would like just interject with all these ridiculous things that didn't actually happen, and then he turned it into a feature.
That sounds like my kind of deal again. This is amazing. I'm so glad I met you tonight, Diamanda. This has been amazing. This is my whole December sorted now. I'm going to be watching all of these.
I am a bit of a maven when it comes to mad shit.
I'll try and squeeze a few Christmas films in as well. I've just been looking at. Sorry, Gary.
Just going to say, ready for New Year's Hour? So
yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay.
Marcus Trilberry can't catch a break.
Order up, number 46.
At his work, he gets no respect.
What, Marcus? I was just wondering if you got my new name tag in yet? Because this says Marquay Dickberry.
At his home, he gets no love.
I could understand if your father was still in the house, but this is Tom, your stepfather, and my lover.
And with his friends, oh, he doesn't have any. But all he needs is a chance.
Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations.
I've been invited to Bartok's mansion to take part in a once-in-a-lifetime ritual in which he, along with 5 of his most loyal followers, will attempt to raise the spirit of the ancient demon, Abaddon.
You're not going anywhere until you scoop that litter box.
Now he's off on an adventure.
Is the ritual going to work? Shall we relate to the talisman?
All 5 are present. The Queen, the Viking, a werewolf, the witch, and you are the Virgin.
What the?
When it's the end of the world, a new hero must rise.
Patty Slinger?
When in doubt, skewer it out.
In the grimoire, after the ritual of Abaddon, there was a warning. Beware the prophecy of fortuitous one.
What? What?
What?
Marcus Trilberry and the...
I'd really love it if you called me Onyx the Fortuitous.
Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls.
Oh, hey. What are y'all doing in here?
Yeah, that looks good.
It's also got what do you call them? Ralph Ineson is playing like the devil, and the black guy there, that's the original voice of Kratos. The plus on it, you can tell this level of nerd the guy who made this is, because he's playing the main character. He wrote and directed it, and he cast his on-screen parents are Combs and Crampton.
If you could have parents, that would be a good parent, wouldn't it? It would be. I mean, that would be good. I mean, if anybody could be your parents, who would it be? That's a good question. Like, I mean, would it be like Rawhead Rex?
Oh dear.
No, I don't think so.
Oh no, not Rawhead Rex.
Well,
could be worse. Could be Shakma.
I could be. Oh my goodness! See, things always get low on this cast. They always do.
No, that's for the first time.
No, that looks fantastic. It really does.
Yeah, the guy who did it, Andrew Bowser, he was the resident director of, I think, The Nerdist. And so he did got a lot of experience making low budget sort of stuff look better than it cost, and making connections with people like in the industry and stuff. And that's how we managed to get Crampton on board. And then she basically suggested Combs and called him up.
Man, that's exactly what it is. It's who you know, isn't it? That's fantastic. Imagine pitching your idea, and Barbara Crampton's like, "That sounds good."
Yeah,
that'd be incredible.
She's a legend.
Oh, she is a legend, and she's so cool as well. I mean, totally cool.
Very.
I mean, there is. I mean, in my estimation today, if we're talking about Combs and Crampton, I mean, there is a few actors and actresses who kind of floated in and out of the horror genre, and they kind of get like, for example, Mia Goth now with a Pearl and the whole Ty West thing, but in my opinion, not the same level, as these people who actually embrace the fact that, or like Bruce Campbell did, embrace the fact, and just love the fans and love the life. And I mean, do you think that's a thing that's gone now? I mean, I don't see it very often now with actors. I mean, there was...
remember with Combs and Crampton and stuff, we're looking at 40 years worth of sort of stuff. If we were looking at them, in 1985, it would be very different, because they'd be trying to get into the sort of mainstream. Like you reach a point when you got your success in this area, and you're not going to get beyond it very often, and so you begin to embrace it.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised with some of people now become Combs and Crampton later on.
Oh yeah, well, we've seen it already with Jamie Lee Curtis and stuff. We've seen that happen. We really have. I mean, she tried to get away from Laurie Strode for years. Like with Trading Places and all that, and then came back to it and embraced it. And I mean, I think we've seen that. We definitely have seen that. And I mean, history always repeats itself.
Yeah,
it does. But it's. I love genre actors, especially the ones who come back later on. But it was like, I mean, I'm a big Charlton Heston fan, but not for the kind of stuff that people love. I love the Omega Man, Soylent Green, and Planet of the Apes.
Planet of the Apes is where it's at. That shit is my jam.
Me too. And
end of this month, I plan to have up like a half-hour video about how to work all of the Planet of the Apes movies and both TV shows and the novel into one singular timeline, into one continuity.
I'm your audience right here. That's for me. That's for me. I'm obsessed with it. It was Planet of the Apes 68 was like, I mean, mind-blowing to me. I think it's the best opening to any movie character ever. When you meet Taylor on that spacecraft, within 5 seconds, you know exactly who he is, where he's going. It's like, it's just, I can't help but think that there has to be something better than man. Like in the first 5 seconds, you understand every part of Taylor. I think it's one of the best. I did a video on my channel about that, just that opening, because I think it's one of the best openings of all time, because you don't get that anymore. Within the first 5 minutes of Planet of the Apes, you understand Taylor completely. He's such a
so good.
So good. And I mean, that whole thing where it's just like when he walks around, he's so like sarcastic as well when he talks. If Dr. Hestline's theory is correct, it's like it's just so cool, man. In my opinion, Taylor is one of the coolest characters in movie history. I really love him that much.
And then you've got the unusual amount of interfilm continuity for something made in the 60s and early 70s.
Exactly.
You've got Hessline, the scientist, is the villain of Escape from Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
There's a fan edit of
how beautiful is Conquest as well. One of the most beautiful looking sci-fi movies of the period.
Oh.
It looks fantastic, and it's shot by John Bailey, right? It was John Bailey who shot it. It looks fantastic.
That I don't know.
Sorry, Bruce Surtees who shot it. It looks fantastic.
I really want to find a copy of the original cut, which apparently you can get in the American Blu-ray with the harsh ending, shall we say? But you can get a fan edit of Planet of the Apes, the original one, which cuts it down to 25 minutes and turns it into a Twilight Zone episode.
No,
it is quite spectacular.
Right.
They even got Rod Serling voiceovers from other episodes that fit.
Cool, man. That sounds fantastic.
You can get that on the Internet Archive.
I'll check it out. I will. Well, I mean, I know we've kind of veered off cult TV shows now, but obviously that spun off into a TV series, which I think is fantastic. I love the Planet of the Apes TV series. I think it's really, really great.
There's 2 of them.
Yep. What was the second one?
Animated.
I've never seen
Return
that.
to the Planet of the Apes.
I've
It's
never
on
seen
YouTube.
that. I've never seen it. I've got so much. You're teaching me. I'm writing all this down.
Animated stream was not educational.
I'm going to write this down. Return the animated series. I need to.
Yeah, even the animated series is in my continuity. I mean, what I'd wanted to do this video for years, ever since watching Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and I worked out my idea, but I figured it wasn't interesting enough for a single video. But then last month, I was flying back from Thailand, so I had 12-hour flight, and I watched all 4 of the new movies in a row, and I was like, okay, I got to work on this video now because 8 movies together strong.
I did like was it Dawn the Planet of the Apes? I thought that was fantastic.
So Diamanda, you're not counting Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes then?
Oh no, that's in there too.
Do you know what it is? Do you think that's as bad as everybody thinks it is, Diamanda?
It's not good. It's the worst Planet of the Apes film possibly made. I mean, the Beneath is not good. Battle is weak, and Kingdom's not great. But
I'd say Battle's the weakest because it looks like a TV movie, but I like the concept of it.
It's got its idea is good.
Right. And I mean, Beneath, I like the whole thing about Taylor just whacking that switch and destroying the whole world. I do like that, and I think James Franciscus was a good-looking guy, and he nailed the lead. And I knew him from the Dario Argento movies and stuff, so that was cool.
And it's hilarious. It's hilarious that he got cast just because he looked like Charlton Heston.
I know, and all he's got's the same kind of hairline.
But the Tim Burton movie, it's got excellent makeup. It's got excellent design and excellent music.
Definitely excellent music. It's Danny Elfman, right?
Yeah. But the script is terrible, and the Tim Burton deliberately chose the ending to not make sense, even though it's the same ending from the original novel, which does make sense in context in the novel.
Yes, it
but
does.
Then what do you call her?
Bonham Carter.
Yeah. Bonham Carter came up with the explanation for how to make sense of the ending, and it makes perfect sense with her suggestion. So I've included that into my thing because my timeline, it basically hyper expands on the idea of how they changed history.
Yeah.
And basically that's not the first time that's happened. I've managed to come up with the idea that not only are Planet of the Apes and Beneath the Planet of the Apes in 2 different time loops, in 2 different continuities, but there's a third continuity between them. The third different version. So
man, I can't wait. This sounds cool.
It's going to be complicated as fuck.
I can imagine. I've been a fan, like I say, for a fair few years, so I understand how complicated this could get.
I mean, I'll give you a taste. The original novel, I think, happens during Planet of the Apes, when Taylor, after Taylor introduced himself and goes to cryo.
Yes.
The original Planet of the Apes happens in there.
The Pierre Boulle novel.
The original novel.
Yeah,
and then the Planet of the Men, the unmade original sequel concept by Pierre Boulle, that also is involved in that. And then the Tim Burton movie happens during the events of Planet of the Apes in the exact same spot in a different loop.
Because I really don't think that the Tim Burton Planet of the Apes is as bad as everybody says it is. I really don't. I think it's okay, and I think Marky Mark really tries, and I like his performance. I do. I think he was decent in it. And I mean,
he's very trying. Yes,
he is. I like that about him. I really do. I really do. I like the fact. I always like that about him. He really tries, and it's like I admire him for it. I do.
Its main weakness is that the Planet of the Apes is an unusually well scripted and well made franchise for from the 60s. Even the modern ones, it's got an unusually strong hit rate compared to miss rate. And so Tim Burton comes up with a remake that's pretty average for 1990s remakes of old things. Yes. And it looks much worse in comparison because the other ones had so many good films.
It was average. It was average. I agree with that. It was average. But I mean, it was just recently, well, not recently, but I read In the Arena, Charlton Heston's book. And it was amazing the fact that he was at the top of the world at that point, but he was on the peak and he was coming down because he was getting older. But he read Planet of the Apes and said to, I think it was Franklin G. Schaffer, the director, he said, this is going to be a hit, this man. And he said he knew, like, immediately. He was like, this is like the hippie generation thing. This is mixing that with the old. He was really smart. And I recommend it to anybody who's a fan of the films to read the book In the Arena by Charlton Heston, because Charlton Heston says we all sat in an office and said, this is going to be a hit. And then as soon as it was a hit, they said, let's make a sequel. And it was like one of the first sequelized films I ever remember. Like I said, I just did that video on Halloween 2. And I actually mentioned Beneath the Planet of the Apes in that because that was the first sequelized series I remember was Planet of the Apes. Well before we got like sequels for other stuff. That was really the first one, right?
It was it was incredibly early. Like the
68, 72, I think, right?
Yeah, and
70,
but
I think was the sequel.
Oh, yeah.
But the
it
was very early. I was just confirming something because the invention of the number of the sequel with a number that had only happened about 15 years earlier, because stage plays had like sequels where you had Henry VIII Part 2 or whatever, but they always had Part 2. This is why The Godfather has Part 2 in
French Connection 2 as well, and
how they have part in there. But the movie convention of having just the number that originated in the 50s, in the late 50s, and hilariously, it does not come from theater. It comes from rocketry, because it's from Quatermass 2.
Yeah.
The second Quatermass adventure thing, which was the BBC thing. But Quatermass 2...
I love Quatermass 2. It's one of my favorites because it feels more like Invasion of the Body Snatchers type deal. I love Quatermass 2.
Yeah, but the name of it was not named that, because it's a sequel. It was named that because it was named after the rocket.
Yeah, Quatermass 2. Right?
So it is such an Beneath the Planet of the Apes is such an early cinematic sequel that it is only 15 years after the invention of the numbered sequel convention that we have for films.
That's so cool. Yeah, it's really interesting, man. It really is to think about that. I do love Quatermass 2. I love the Quatermass 2 movie as well. I think the Quatermass 2 movie, the black and white movie, is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I do love the original Quatermass. In fact, you wouldn't believe it, but as we speak, I'm actually writing about Quatermass, and I've got the disc here from the original series, BBC, on my desk because I was burning this afternoon so I could use clips from it. But yeah, I'm a big Neil fan. I love all the Quatermass stuff. But I do love the Quatermass 2 movie. I think is great. And it's so like end of the world type movie. I love it. And the whole thing with when he gets in and they've got like almost I remember hearing Cronenberg talk about it with scanners. And he said he wanted to make a scanner kind of city. And Quatermass 2 was one of the things he was thinking about, like having a city like what Quatermass 2 had, but it was a city of scanners. It's so cool, man. It was a really influential movie, I think. And obviously a book, but
it's fantastic.
It is, isn't it? It's so great.
Neil is fantastic. I did one of my videos I did years ago was just all about him and stuff like that.
I'll check it out. I need to check more
and the stone tape and stuff like that.
Stone tape's brilliant, yeah.
And the Year of the Sex Olympics. But
Year of the Sex Olympics is one of the darkest shows of all time.
Yeah, you could remake that today and you could market it as an atypical slasher movie.
I know.
And it would work.
And it was like right off the back of stuff like now that's happening, like The Long Walk's just been done. The Running Man's just been done. And I mean, can you remember the end of the Sex Olympics when he breaks in with the axe and she's in the... whoa, it's like harrowing. Nigel Neal's... I know I think, are we all Doctor Who fans too? I'm a Doctor Who fan as well. But I've always preferred Quatermass to Doctor Who just because it kind of inspired it a little bit. But I love Quatermass. I love the John Mills Quatermass with Simon McCorkindale as well. I think that's a perfect miniseries. It's just, Quatermass is, in my opinion...
Sorry about that. My mic died. Hello?
That's true.
Yep.
Many was just saying, yep, the stone tape, dark and decent. I love
it.
I love the
Can you hear me?
Yep. Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, good. My thing came out.
Now, Minnie was just saying in the chat, the stone tape, yep, it's dark and decent. do make shows like that often these days, or they don't.
And it's not often an actual hypothesis gets named after a piece of media like that.
Yeah.
The stone tape hypothesis for explaining ghosts.
Well, it was. I mean, Nigel Neal was. We were talking about. I think before stream, we were talking about Quatermass in the pit, where you get that kind of the demon face at the end that comes out when he's on the. Pardon me, when he's on the crane and he runs up to the crane and smashes it all in, and you get the face coming up over London at the end. It's so
the Martian Devil.
The Martian Devil. It's spectacular. I mean, I'd never seen anything like that before when I saw the Quatermass films. Never. And the first Quatermass series is just so incredible. It really is. I mean, the soundtrack.
Called now.
It's like the most epic sound. Dun 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 dun. Dun. It's
the
incredible.
intro to the Quatermass 1 intro is the most over the top intro I've seen of a 50s show ever.
It's great, isn't it? I love it so much.
It's like being smacked in the face with pure media, 50s style.
What's a bit like? I mean, it's similar to Doctor Who when it comes in with that wicked tune. It's the same thing. It's just so great. I mean, let's talk about the first episode of Doctor Who. All we've got is a soundstage, some mist, a copper, and a phone booth, and it inspires a whole, still ongoing thing.
An Unearthly Child is the best episode of Doctor Who ever made.
I think it is. I think it is. I like the World War III. What's the one with World War III with Tom when they're in the trenches? I think it's the first time we see Davros.
Oh, World War One, you mean?
Oh, you mean Genesis of the Daleks?
Genesis of the Daleks. I love that episode as well.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the Unearthly Child's my favorite. I think.
But about Doctor Who, I'm canon in the Doctor Who universe.
Ooh.
I know. I actually got. I've been referenced. My videos, the stuff in my videos about my character, have actually been referenced in both a book called The Book of the Snowstorm and in the Doctor Who mobile game.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
Which mobile game?
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
I'm apparently going to be named. Yeah, they get a credit of concept owned by Diamanda Hagan in the book. But I'm apparently gonna come up actually in a story at some point in a future book. The idea is that during the Martian invasion of the 22nd century on Earth, I was in charge of Mars, and the Daleks didn't set a fucking tentacle on Mars.
Well, it's not the same.
That's incredible, though. That's
but,
really incredible.
Two things relating to Doctor Who. Have you heard of a writer called Una McCormick?
I've heard of Una McCormick. Yes, she wrote. She wrote some Big Finish.
Yeah, she does Star Trek as well. Novels.
No, I don't know it. No,
right. Well, I know her sister.
Oh, nice one.
So I'm good friends with her sister.
Let me see. I believe in my last Big Finish video, I actually reviewed one of her stories. Let me see if I can find it. I look up her thing so I can confirm this, because I remember commenting that I wish she wrote more Doctor Who.
That was interesting in the chat. Minty's just mentioned Halloween 3, the novel, which I've never read, Minty. I did try to get it, but it was so expensive that I couldn't afford to buy a copy. But not so much of the original material, or not sure how much of Nigel's original material is in the book and what was added after him. But he is still credited, right, Minty, in the screenplay, I think, of Halloween 3. I think it's still like story by Nigel Neal or something. And it was John Carpenter was like a massive fan of the Quatermass movies, and that's why I wanted him to write the screenplay, I think, from what the special feature said on the DVD I watched.
And Chris Carter tried to get him to write an episode of The X-Files, but he turned it down and insulted the show. Classic Neil.
Oh, well. None of everything.
Nigel Neal is one of those guys. He was a dick, but he kind of earned it.
Oh, totally. Some people are just like that.
And, notice how we're not talking about how good Quatermass 4 was, because it was just, oh, no. It's got the evil hippies and aliens. Oh, no.
Oh, if only you'd made that. I quite like the Earth Children.
It would have been better if he'd made it 10 years earlier and it wasn't like 1978.
I know when it wasn't 78. I know what you mean. I do. It was like an old guy. It was an old guy looking at the youth. But I do like the whole. I mean, there's some really depressing stuff in that. I mean, Simon McCorkindale's wife and kids get killed, and then he comes back and he's just gone insane by the time Quatermass gets there. And it's the end of Quatermass, and he saves the world once again, but he finally dies in that one. But I love all this stuff because I'm a proper like post-apocalyptic guy. I love that world. I love the world of Dawn of the Dead. I love the world of, I love those kind of like Survivors, the BBC TV series. I love those kind of shows where it's the end of the world. And I love the fact that at the beginning of Quatermass, the John Mills one with Simon McCorkindale in the 70s, late 70s, like when he drives to the television interview at the beginning and he drives through the apocalyptic world and it's totally wasted. And then he comes out and he's not even protected. The TV studio or the cops can't even protect him. I love the world that it created in the TV series. I thought that was pretty cool. And at the end, he meets all the old folks who are hiding in the junkyard. I loved all that stuff.
I think it would have been. I would more well regard it if it was made 10 years earlier. Like I can see the
100%.
bones, but it's like he seems to. It's very much Neil through the prism of old man yelling at cloud.
It is. I agree. It is. It's the hippies 10 years later.
Have you seen The Changes?
Yes, I have. Yes.
That's a nice bit of demented post-apocalyptic.
Right.
I did a video about that one where I basically theorized this is exactly the sort of show you would do if you were trying to do something inspired by Brexit, but as a fantasy show.
Right.
And if the audience haven't seen this, it's basically all the adults in the UK go nuts and start breaking technology and they regress to medieval lives and things like that. And it turns out that what made this happen was the primordial Lovecraftian spirit of Britain used its hive mind like control over everyone to make it return to the medieval times because people had done too much for advancement and they wanted things to be simpler again. And it really is like a really weird fever dream premonition of Brexit.
It is. Now that you put it that way, it is.
You've even got the young person who's, young people aren't as affected, and you've got like immigrants aren't as affected. Those are the two main groups who aren't, and people are escaping to France and stuff like that. It
was an interesting show.
It was really interesting. It's never the same show twice. It becomes like a kid's version of The Walking Dead. Turns into like this, religious sort of thriller. Then it turns all Lovecraftian. It's fucking fantastic.
It is. It's like it's making us want to watch that again. Actually, thinking about it, well, speaking about Lovecraftian, I mean, how many Lovecraftian influence shows has there been? I mean, obviously they did Lovecraft County recently, which was pretty good, I thought, and it got cancelled after like 2 seasons. But there's a lot of like The Invasion, for example, that was like a Lovecraftian inspired, TV series. There was so many great ones.
I think we watched that.
Right.
Sounds familiar.
A bunch of things take varying degrees of influence from them. Like Buffy, a lot of their ideas for how the world was before humanity came with the demons and stuff, that was taken straight out of the Cthulhu mythos.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's inspired so much. I mean, my favorite John Carpenter film is In the Mouth of Madness. That's totally inspired by Lovecraft. I mean, my favorite story, I actually mentioned this, and I did a review of The Dead Zone that I was talking about earlier on that got totally flagged to the max. But I ended up halfway through talking about The Outsider, and that I think Johnny Smith's like The Outsider in that story. And why I relate to Lovecraft so much, I think, was because of The Outsider. When everybody's running away and he's running with them, and he doesn't, and then he reaches out and touches the mirror, and he's the monster that everyone's running away from. It was like I still really relate to that, and that's what I love. Lovecraft is questionable in his place in time. He was almost like, I remember Guillermo del Toro saying that he was almost like caught in formaldehyde of that New England higher upper class people, his views, the way that he talks about the Jewish sailors in the novels and things. And I mean, it's just terrible. It is. But I love that view that Lovecraft in his life was an outsider, totally. I mean, he had
He
one.
was.
He had one marriage that was maybe sexual. We don't know if he ever had sex with that.
Oh no, he did. According to her, they did,
Right.
and she said he was a perfectly good lover. I
And it-
don't want to think about Lovecraft having sex, but
and it
that's
was the
what she
best
said.
sex you'd ever had. but you know what I mean? Though I feel that way about him. He feels like he doesn't want to touch other people. Do you know what I mean?
With Lovecraft, though, there's one element that people tend to forget. Because racist as fuck. Not disagreeing with any of that.
Oh, of course, yes.
He is the avatar of the famous literary bigot.
Well, he wanted to be Paul.
But
He always said he wanted to be Paul. I mean, that was his biggest influence.
But at the same time, Lovecraft is the only famous literary bigot who actually made an effort to improve. At the end of it, in the last months of his life, he actually you got letters from him where he's expressing horror at his own old previous sayings. He doesn't go into detail about what he's saying that he was horrified by. But
I think his wife changed him I know he couldn't really handle New York once you took him to New York and that kind of society side of it. But I think she really helped turn him into a different guy. I really do.
Yeah, and it's very possible that was the main influence.
Right.
But he definitely was on like a redemption arc whenever he died tragically very young. If he lived an average lifespan,
what 32 was he or something?
More like 40.
40, all right.
If he had an average lifespan, he would have lived into the 70s, and who knows where he would have ended up.
Yeah,
and I got the feeling that he would be viewed very differently. I mean, like people, you got all this stuff about Lovecraft being the horrible bigotry of Lovecraft, and it is horribly bigoted.
But that's just a product of its time. I mean,
he was unusually racist even for his time. He was worse than his time, but
apparently his grandfather was quite liberal, though, right?
That I don't know about, but he did the thing about improving. But like compare Lovecraft to how Frank Herbert is treated.
Yeah,
Frank Herbert, people love Dune, blah 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 blah. But Frank Herbert is so homophobic.
Yeah,
he created the Baron to be basically his avatar of how he thought gay people were, physically and morally repellent, incest, rape on his own underage nephew, and stuff like that. But he not only did that, he disowned his own gay son, who died of AIDS.
Yeah,
Jesus.
And so it's like, honestly, I think a lot of the ire that Lovecraft gets, at least some of it, should be shunted over to Frank Herbert.
Well, no, I know what you mean. I do. I mean, I'm a big fan of it. I'm a big fan of both of them. I am actually a big Herbert fan. I read all the Dune books when I was a kid as well. But I understood that growing up being a different kid. I understood that Herbert was a little bit. Well, I wouldn't say a little bit. It was. I didn't relate to that side of it at all. But it's the same with Lovecraft. I didn't relate to that side of Lovecraft when he's talking about the kind of disformed Jewish element of the docks. I didn't get that either. But I do think they're a product of the time. I really do. And I mean, Lovecraft did get better. He did. And I think it was, his grandfather, they lost all the money. They lost all of his grandfather's money. And he had to come down from the kind of aristocracy that he had. And I think that definitely helped him in, having to sell stories to Weird Tales and things and the magazines that he was selling stuff to. But I think his wife definitely helped him with that. I do. I mean, from what I understand, I really. She was the only real connection to the outside world he had, and when they got divorced, he kind of became a recluse, didn't he?
And then eventually he looked inwards, and he didn't like what he saw, and which is a level of.
I wish I could remember her name. I feel like I'm doing her a disservice because I can't.
Sonia Green.
Sonia Green. Yeah, thank you very much, man. I felt like I was doing her a disservice because I couldn't remember her name then.
But there is a level of self-awareness that very, very few people, reach. Because he wasn't being he did all that by himself.
Yes.
Like he realized that and without. He just did a lot of thinking and didn't like what he saw, and I think that should really count for something. It does not wipe away any of the bigotry, because there is mountains of bigotry.
Mountains
But
of madness.
But we should also remember that unlike Roald Dahl, unlike Frank Herbert, unlike people who are still alive and being horrible today, of the literary, bigotry, he did his best to get better. And Lovecraft, let's be honest about the thing. He was not running around deliberately trying to make the world worse for people that he hated.
No,
Lovecraft,
he wasn't. He was. I mean, a lot of his stuff feels like a diary of where he was. I mean, do you agree? The streets he describes in New England, or or when he talks about Boston or New York when he moved on later. I mean, it feels like to me at least he was coming full circle. He starts off in New England, he goes, explores the world, doesn't like it, and then comes back. I mean, that's what his writing feels like to me.
pretty much.
I think it's full circle in his stories. It's a life lived, even though he was only 40 years old, like you see.
I haven't read any of them, so I can't comment.
But the I forgot where I was.
Oh, sorry,
sorry. I had a grand sort of idea, and I was.
And then I interrupted. I apologize.
It might come back to me.
So we're talking about Sonia Green. We talked about his wife.
Yeah. Oh yes, sorry. Yeah, you're reminded. Yes. Unlike some famous bigots, like Frank Herbert disowned his gay son.
Yeah.
And who died horribly. Like Lovecraft had friends, very close friends, who were in groups that he hated, who didn't know about his bigotry until after his death. He kept it that quiet. And it was mostly to do with Lovecraft feeling that he thought it was ungentlemanly and uncouth to voice most things like that, so he kept it private in his letters, and he wrote what he wrote in his books.
Yes.
But he wasn't running around attacking people in real life.
Oh no, of course not. It was
so. It's not better. It's different, and it's less destructive.
That's a good way of putting it. It's less destructive. I mean, and most of the terror comes from within himself. It's from within his own lineage. I mean, when you look at stuff like the rats on the walls or stories like that, it's about him. It's about him going into the bowels of himself. I mean, the castle, the bowels of the castle being I think him digging inside of himself and then finding out that he's part of these deformed creatures that live underneath this. I mean, that's his lineage. He didn't like himself very much. I don't think he liked himself.
He'd been told a lot by his mother that he was hideous.
Well, she used to dress him like a girl, right? And lead him around saying that he was his daughter.
That kind of thing, yeah, that did happen, but also that's not very far removed from the time when it was normal for boys to be dressed as girls until a certain age.
Yeah, of course, but he was he wasn't a very masculine child. He had the kind of long blonde curly hair and stuff. And do you know what I mean? I mean, this is no way. I think he's one of the most influential writers of all time, Diamanda. I do. I wouldn't be me if I'd never read his books. I wouldn't. That much of an influence on my life, really. And that's why I'm interested in his life. I really am, because I'd like to understand where he got that from, because he seemed to understand me so well, even though I'm not a racist bigot at all. But in his writing, I relate to Lovecraft a lot. I really do. And I really do. It's there.
I read a fascinating article. I have no idea where I saw it, but it was by an African American who is a big Lovecraft fan, who explained that, there was a big cohort of horror fans who were like African Americans who were big Lovecraft fans. And I didn't know this was such a big thing, but apparently there is a big group of ones. And his description of why he is so loved in that area is because Lovecraft, through his various, whether it's mental illness or whether it's social anxiety or whatever that made him the way he was, he accidentally made himself experience the world in a way that is similar to an oppressed minority, because he convinced himself that the world is full of all of these sort of unknowable terrors that could destroy him at any moment.
Literally, and everything's unknowable in Lovecraft. You can't even know what stuff looks like.
Yes, so
everything.
So they're saying that he understands the mindset of what it's like to be an oppressed minority, but it's entirely self-inflicted.
I totally agree. I don't think he wanted to experience the world until he met Sonia Green, and she was his way into the world. I mean, it's an incredible story. It really is. It's an incredible story. I mean, it was. I remember. I love John Carpenter, and I remember John Carpenter talking about him, just seeing how much of an influence he was on him. And I mean, in my opinion, he's it's most inspiring writer. The same as Poe, and Poe obviously inspired Lovecraft because you can read it, especially in the poetry that Lovecraft wrote early on. You can really see that he's trying to sound like Edgar Allan Poe until he found his own way. It's beautiful, beautiful writing. It is. But like I say, I think it's a product of its time, and you can't excuse any of that racism or bigotry. You can't, because it's wrong.
Yeah.
But I related to his writing so much, especially as a weird little teenager who didn't know where I was, or who I was, or where I was going, or where I fit, because I didn't fit in. His books felt like it. Same with Philip K. Dick, actually. That I felt like I've met kindred spirits in Poe, Lovecraft, and Dick. I love reading that stuff. I loved it. I really did. Did anyone read the Necronomicon? Minnie the Beast was saying from the 70s and 80s. I never read the book, the Necronomicon, but I know the Necronomicon's obviously in Lovecraft's work. But Minnie the Beast was saying, did anyone get a copy of Necronomicon, but that came out in the 70s and 80s?
Nope.
No.
I didn't either. I know the Necronomicon's obviously in his work. And Claytu, Verata, Nictu, that Bruce Campbell says in Armies of Darkness.
You just reminded me, as ridiculous horror crossovers in Onyx the Fortuitous.
Yes.
Combs, as Bartok the Great Magus, is doing a big spell to call forth Satan or whatever. He uses the exact magic spell that Chucky uses in Child's Play.
Nerds.
I know, proper nerds. I know, that's incredible.
No. I mean, the guy who wrote
Oh, well, totally, man. It was the first film I ever made. It was like, I think we're talking about this the week when I built the whole set to look like, I tried to make it look like the set from In the Mouth of Madness, the John Carpenter film. Nobody ever noticed it until I pointed it out.
John, it looks...
It's like, oh, where'd you build that set? It's In the Mouth of Madness. Oh, yes, I understand it now.
That looks familiar.
But you talk about Poe earlier. One of the projects I'm working on now, thanks to a lovely patron, is I'm to do a video on every episode of Mike Flanagan's Follow the House of Usher.
I did a video about that on my channel a while ago when it was out, but I didn't go into the depth of the names of the episodes and things. But I did love the Murders at the Rue Morgue episode. I thought it was really good. I think that was my favorite one.
It's a lot of fun. You're getting, the horrible rich people getting what they deserve for once. I'm going to do one episode on every single episode. Basically, I'm going to take the piss out of it and riff it, is my want, but also talk about the short story that each episode is based on.
My least favorite was the Pit and the Pendulum. I didn't like that episode. It was the one where what do you call him? Henry Thomas gets his comeuppance, but it just felt like it was almost like anticlimactic for that character because it was so stand out. I felt like he should have had a better. I think he should have had a better story. But I guess maybe they were thinking because he's Henry Thomas, he should have the most famous story, the Pit and the Pendulum.
Yeah, you've got to have the Pit. There's only so many ways you can do the Pit and the Pendulum in the modern day. But like
Stuart Gordon did it with Lance Henriksen.
Yeah, but they set it in the modern day.
Oh, they did.
I'm a little bit sad that they didn't actually do a shout out to my favorite Poe story in the miniseries.
Nantucket.
Oh no! They did plenty of that because Mark Hamill was Arthur Gordon Pym.
He was named after Pym, but they never did the story. I'd love to have some cannibalism in there somewhere.
And I loved the fact that the granddaughter calls Roderick Usher Grampus.
Yes,
because that's the name of the ship. But no, my favorite Poe is Eureka.
Oh, that's an interesting one.
Which is his attempt to explain the cosmos.
Oh, yeah.
and where he predicted things like the speed of light and black holes and all these things that physics later on worked out actually existed. But he just looked at the universe and he was like, I'm going to try work out how this works, like it's a detective story, and it is fascinating.
It's a great story. It is. I mean, he was a great writer. Edgar Allan Poe was just one of those writers again that was like, I mean, there's a great. I just watched when Val Kilmer died actually recently. I watched Ben Chapman play him in Betwixt Now and Sunrise, and Ben Chapman does the whole the spiel that he gave about how to write a story. And he always said, you know, you've just got to take a couple of lines of prose and he does the whole Edgar Allan Poe synopsis thing great in that movie, just explaining like how easy Edgar Allan Poe thought it was to write. And it's like, no, it's not easy. You're a master of your craft. It's incredible. But that was really good. But Ben Chapman playing him in that movie was fantastic.
Yeah, Poe was a bit of a dick to his fellow writers. Which
I don't think he was a very nice guy, was he?
It depends. You hear sort of conflicting things. Remember, a lot of our ideas about how Poe were in his personal life were because of Rufus Griswold, who basically wrote the biography of him, which is mostly not true, but it's the very famous one.
The one about him being in love with his cousin and all that.
Well, with that one, he did marry his cousin. Yeah. And she was 13 when they married, but there are historical questions about why they married. And you know, you got the obvious sort of possible reasons, but you've also got other ones, and it's people argue over it. Although I got a feeling that they wouldn't be arguing over it, and they would just assume the obvious if he wasn't Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah,
we do tend to give famous people a little bit more leeway, you know, as a society, which isn't a good thing. But
no, I totally agree. I mean, look at the history of Hollywood. Clark Gable, Fatty Arbuckle, anybody, you know. I mean, it's terrible when you look at the history of people just getting away with it.
Though with Poe, unlike, you know, Charlie Chaplin, he had a string of relationships with, you know, girls that young or slightly older, and married like several of them. But with Poe, this is a one-off, which I suppose makes it interesting. Usually with guys like that, it's a pattern. Yeah. Like Poe, he died 10 days before he was meant to marry his former childhood sweetheart, who he was meant to marry when they were both teenagers. And then, you know, her family broke off the engagement and he never quite got over her. And then after, you know, in their 40s, they both met up again and they were going to marry. And then he dies mysteriously because we don't actually know why Poe died.
I mean, I assumed what I've read, he just had a drug overdose. I mean, that's what I assumed from reading the different biographies I've read. And it was the whole thing where he went missing for a couple of days, right? I mean, they tried to make a movie out of it with John Cusack, right?
Yeah, the Raven. He was missing for 4 days.
4 days.
And he turns up in someone else's clothes, and he's rambling. We don't know, yelling about Reynolds. He never manages to explain what happened. Like my preferred theory is that he was a victim of cooping.
Maybe.
But you know, there's a bunch of ones that might work. I mean, some people have suggested rabies, though he could drink water till the end. He just refused alcohol. He'd actually stopped drinking and joined the temperance movement. And they took some hair from him right after he died, and it was tested like 150 years later, and he had not drunk alcohol.
And there's no opium in there either, because he was a big opium.
That one, I don't know if they were testing for that, but they tested for alcohol, and he had not drunk alcohol in months, which
that's strange in itself for Edgar Allan Poe, I would think.
Well, he got very into temperance after Virginia died.
So he was trying to relax and get maybe more spiritual, perhaps.
And he, he's a complicated person, you know, for better and worse.
Exactly, it's there in his writing. I mean, the same with Lovecraft. The souls are there for us to read. That's what's incredible about it. The souls are on the page, right?
Yeah.
Have to excuse me though. We're going to hang around for a bit longer because I'll have to get another kind of beer if we're going to stay around for a bit longer. Are you happy to keep talking for a little bit longer?
Yeah, I can do it for a little bit longer. I am going to crash at some point, though.
Well, if you feel like do that, just say the word, and you know you can head on. That's all right. I've never read
Thank you very
Lovecraft
much.
or Poe, so I'm very sheltered that way.
Well, Poe is
I've read The Raven, but I mean, growing up, I didn't.
on a midnight dreary, etc.
Yes, nevermore.
The thing is with the guys like that, it's because they were so influential. They are a little bit. It's basically old hat and less interesting. 150 years later. So yeah, it's. There's a wonderful line from Mark Twain, which is the classics are something that everyone wants to have read, but no one wants to read. So, not reading it is not a crime.
That's all right then. Cancel that order from Amazon.
I'm just into Poe, and I've been collecting his stuff to go through again because I'm doing this project, and so I got Poe on the brain.
Whereas I like Poe the band, or the singer, I should say.
What about the Pogues?
No, the Poe she's called. She's Finnish. Poe. Like
not familiar.
No, she works with Sam Lake.
I think I've heard of Sam Lake.
Yeah, from Remedy. He did Alan Wake and Control and stuff. Those games. Kind of like mind bending. It's hard to explain, but like basically, Control is a government organization, and you join it and looking for your brother, and it turns out he was destined to become the chief of it, and it turns out then you become the chief, and then it's very complicated, but it's paranormal gaming. You have these powers.
Nice
you kind of can move things with your hands and push things away from you, or kill people that's thinking it. So yeah,
nice. Sounds like fun.
I'll tell you what, I'll bring up a wee section of the
So, did any of you like Due South? Talking about cult TV shows, I was a massive Due South fan. That was one of my favorite shows, and I guess you could call Due South a cult TV show.
I saw a couple of episodes many years ago.
That was one of my favorites. It kind of the main guy was a Mountie, and he was with the Chicago Cop. And they were awful, but then they got together and they were brilliant. It was just, I might have already mentioned it already in the stream, but it was just one of my favorite TV shows when I was growing up. It was fantastic.
This is for Diamanda, so
just want to Mountie that Mountie.
Oh, definitely. Paul Gross is still a gorgeous man.
But you get the idea.
Kind of reminds me of a very, very, very hyperactive and much more elaborate than a spectacular version of the Tremere base in Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. But back to Poe and Lovecraft. Did you know Jeffrey Combs played them both?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I did.
And did you know he also played L. Frank Baum,
Yes,
writer
I did know
of
that
The
as
Wizard
well,
of Oz?
yes.
So clearly, now that Combs is in his 70s, we need him to play Mark Twain.
Oh.
And there, he's got the whole set then.
And then we're coming full circle back to Val Kilmer because he played Twin on stage.
Oh my God.
6 degrees of separation. No, I'd love to see him play Mark Twain with the tash and the goatee beard, everything in the pipe. That would be great.
Yeah, if I somehow got some kind of control over Doctor Who, I'd be like, I don't care if you're on TV or on audio or what. Jeffrey Combs, fucking Mark Twain. Do it.
We need to get in touch.
It can happen, BBC.
We'll have to start some kind of petition. Come on, Jeffrey. You can do it.
He would definitely do it. He'd be totally up for it.
Oh no, he can do anything. He really can't do anything, Jeffrey Combs. He's one of those actors that was fearless. And I mean, how old was he when they did Reanimator? What, in his late 20s, if that?
I think around 30.
Around 30, man. It's incredible. It's an incredible performance. And I mean, it just gets better and better from there.
And the great thing about Mark Twain is, you know, no one can fail at it any more than William Shatner doing it. They put a silly, like, stuck-on mustache in him. They don't even give him the white suit. They don't give him a wig. He's just William Shatner with a thing doing a crappy Southern accent on the Murdoch
I love
Mysteries.
William Shatner. I think he's one of the greatest actors of all time.
Did you see him play Alexander the Great?
Yes.
It's so funny.
I was watching the other week. I was doing a review for, what was it? I can't remember what it was, but I was doing TV movies from the 70s anyway. And I watched the Terror at 37,000 Feet, where it's literally inspired by The Exorcist. He does an exorcism on a Boeing 747 on this TV. But it's written by like William Link, the guy who wrote Columbo, wrote this episode for television. It's just so good. And William is this priest who loses his faith, but he's trying to do an exorcism. It's just, he's so incredible, William Shatner, man. It's just, oh man, I looked the other week. I've been collecting slasher movies again, but like upgrading my collection, and up to DVD or 4K or whatever. And I never actually had a DVD of what do you call it? Michael Ironside when he's the killer in the hospital, the Canadian one. Visiting Hours. And William Shatner, I totally forgot William Shatner was in it. I couldn't even remember William Shatner was in the film. And I bought it and I put the Blu-ray in. I was like, oh, great, man. I'm looking forward to seeing this again. I remember Michael Ironside being totally crazy in it with the flipping earrings and all that. And I was like, William Shatner? What's he doing to this? And he just totally sleepwalks through the whole movie. It's like, he's
Combs would never.
Oh, I know he would. He never would. But it was just William Shatner. He's underrated.
He says, speaking of Shatner, any fans of The Devil's Reign?
Another great cast, right, Minnie? You've got John Travolta in there, and you know there was Ernest Borgnine, and that was a really good cast, that movie.
Is that the one in Esperanto? No, it wasn't.
It's the one at the end where they all get their eyes melt and they all get the black eyes, so they're all blind at the end. In the town, it was pretty spooky when I saw it as a kid. I remember, Mindy. It was.
I think
John.
I think I've seen that, but I think my memory of it might have gotten pushed out by watching something else that's even worse.
It was a Satanic Panic thing. There was that, and there was like the Warren. What do you call it? Peter Fonda and Warren Oates one, the Ride with the Devil or Race with the Devil. It was like that kind of movie, like late 70s kind of Satanic Panic type thing.
Did you see the William Shatner movie where he wrote it and he stars in it and he's fighting Satan?
No,
it came out like 3 years ago.
No, I've never seen that. That sounds amazing.
I'll find the name of it.
Shatner versus Evil. Was it not incredible when he went on that spacecraft and went into the atmosphere? I was in tears watching William Shatner fly up to space. It was fantastic. I thought I'm a big space nerd, so it meant a lot to me to see William Shatner actually go to outer space. It was incredible, and I think that was it the Jeff Bezos rocket that he was on?
I think so. Yeah.
I was quite emotional watching it because he inspired us so much. Lots of the Satan, Mephisto Waltz. That was great, wasn't it? The Mephisto Waltz, Minty. I really liked that one. That was dark as anything as well. There was a one that Michael Caine.
Devil's Revenge, will that be it?
Yeah, Devil's Revenge. That's it. He co-wrote it with Maurice Hurley. Oh shit, Maurice Hurley. That's the guy who basically drove Gates McFadden out of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
What was the name of that again? Sorry, I'm writing it down. The Devil's Revenge. But he got Gates McFadden out of it before she came back in season 3, I guess.
Yeah, basically, Maurice Hurley was apparently a terrible piece of work in the Next Generation. There's a lot of stories about bad stuff about him. I think he might have been responsible for the naked for the what do you call them, the planet the planet where Tasha Yar gets kidnapped, and it's considered the worst episode where she has to do the fight against
I don't know what you mean. The slug monster.
Yeah, the racist tribal African one. There's. I think that he's one that he gets blamed for that. I think he's the one that Gates McFadden had issues with, which led to her quitting after series 1. I'm not 100%, but I think so.
I think her relationship with Picard was one of the things I come back to a lot in that series. I really like it the more it goes on, and I think it really grounds Picard. I'm a big, I much prefer DS9. I hate to say it, but I was much more of a DS9 guy. I watched that more than I watched The Next Generation. But I also watched The Next Generation because it was on before DS9. There was like nights where you come in, and then you'd have I think it was Channel 2 here in the UK. You'd have The Next Generation, then you'd have DS9 after it. But I was always more DS9. But I did like Crusher. And I thought she was a great character. I thought she was one of the best characters in the series. I really like, obviously, Jonathan Frakes as what do you call him? What's his name? No, number one.
Riker.
Because he's just such a cool character. Will Riker. He's just such a cool character. But the Doctor was great, and I thought the Doctor was better in DS9, but I was always more of a DS9 fan. But Gates McFadden's a great actress. And that for me, I've just got a totally roundabout way of saying this, but that relationship between Picard and Beverly Crusher kind of grounded the whole show. I thought it was great.
I've just checked Memory Alpha, and according to it, he is the reason that Gates McFadden left. And it wasn't until after he went that she came back.
Well, thank goodness he left. And it was the Bezos dick rocket, Minty's just said. That's the one I was thinking of. The Bezos dick rocket that took William Shatner to space.
Did they come back? Sadly.
Shatner seems to have been improved by his visit to space. He seemed rather humbled by it. It's called the overseer effect, where someone in space sees the entire planet and basically turns a bit hippie-ish, and he seems to have come down with that pretty hard.
It's quite insane. There's a great I totally know what you mean, Diamanda, there with that. There's a documentary I love called Shadow of the Moon, and it talks to all the astronauts. It talks to Captain Gene Cernan, who I hate to say it, but not hate to say it. It's one of the pleasures of my life. I actually met Gene Cernan, who was the last man to walk on the moon. I was at a film festival in Sheffield, and he did a documentary called The Last Man on the Moon, and he was there. I actually got to shake his hand. I'm really proud to say that. I shook the guy's hand, the last guy who walked on the moon, Captain Gene Cernan. But in the documentary, Shadow of the Moon, you get everybody. You get Gordo Cooper, you've got Michael Collins, you've got all the different astronauts talking about how they felt when they actually got to the moon.
Mm.
And it was, a lot of them, it was spiritual. Do you know they actually got sued because I think it was Jim Lovell read from the Bible, and there was an atheist sued them because they said that it was, they sued the network and sued NASA because they said it was inappropriate for an astronaut to read Genesis when they were on the moon, and this was broadcast live on TV.
But separation of church and state.
Yeah, exactly. That, and the one because it was a separation of church and state, so the atheist won the battle. But Jim Lovell read from the Bible. He read from Genesis when he was on the moon, and it was live broadcast. But it was such an interesting thing to hear the different astronauts talk about how they felt looking back at the Earth. And I think that's what you mean, right? It's that kind of thing.
Humbling.
Yeah, it's
Humbling effect.
yeah, it's been studied in psychology. Apparently, some other people have the complete opposite effect, and they just feel overwhelming terror and just a horror at the universe. So apparently, you go either way. Most people do anyway.
Yeah, man, it's incredible. I can't imagine what it would be like. I mean, I remember I'm a big fan of Carl Sagan, Cosmos, and Carl Sagan was the guy that said when they were leaving Earth, turn it around and take a picture of the Earth, looking back at it instead of looking at the moon, and we got that famous picture of the blue marble. But it's just incredible to hear the astronauts talk about it. And I mean, there was I think it was Lovell who said, you know, when you look at the Earth and it's like the size of your thumb, and you can actually block it out with your thumb when you're looking back at the Earth. He says it really puts it all into perspective that we're just nothing. We're just, and it was I think it was it Gordon Cooper? It might have been Mike Collins. I think it was Michael Collins who said that it was hung like a jewel in the nothingness of space when he looked back at the Earth and just said, that's where we're from. And he said it made us think, you know, how lucky we are to even be here. But then you get the people like Gene Cernan, who, like I say, I was lucky enough to meet, and I asked him about this. How did you feel? And Cernan said it made him feel closer to God because he was so alone, and he's a religious guy. He said being on the moon by himself, well, him and another astronaut, but it said it made him feel so alone that he felt closer to God when he was on the moon. I mean, man, I can't imagine how incredible that must have felt. I mean, I'm not religious. I was brought up religious, but I'm not now. But I mean, can you imagine just looking back and thinking, I mean, he's looking out into the infinite darkness, and it brings him closer to God. Incredible.
It'd be interesting to find out which way you go if you're in that experience. Like, do you get the common one, where it's like you have like a connectedness thing, or do you feel the terror?
Yeah. Well, it was. I mean, Mike Collins again. I love Mike Collins. He's one of my favorite astronauts. He was a guy that was. He was. Was it Collins? I think it was Collins, right? You had Collins, Aldrin, and Armstrong. Armstrong and Aldrin landed on the moon. Mike Collins was in the.
He was in the pod. He never got on the moon himself.
Yeah, so he was in the pod, certainly around the moon. And he always said that you didn't have time to be scared. You had time to be worried. If a light came on, you, oh shit, that light's come on. What's wrong with it? But he said you didn't have time to be scared because you were thinking about, oh, we're too close to that. Oh, we're too close. We need to do this. We need to do that. So he said, I guess why I look up to those guys so much is because obviously they must have had some kind of trepidation about it, but they were rocket jocks. These guys jumped on the fastest thing in the world and wanted to go as fast as they possibly could. That's why they were there. But Colin said they didn't really have time to be scared. They were worried about working the machines and, doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if most of their fear had already been kind of burned out of them thanks to their choice of careers.
Exactly. Exactly. It was, as Thomas Wolfe put it, they had the right stuff.
Yes. Okay. Before we go.
Really? We're not going to go. Oh, I'm having such a good time.
Well, 3 hours is, pretty good. One more show each person chooses. So we'll start with Diamanda.
I don't know. So instead of talking about a show, I'll just mention a film because I can think of one off the top of my head.
Right. Okay.
Interesting film. It's a documentary. It's called The Nightmare, and it is about sleep paralysis. She's seeing shadow men.
Yeah, seeing the shadow guys. I know the one you mean. Yes, I watched that.
And it's a rare thing in that it's a horror documentary. In that it's a documentary designed to instill dread, and it instead of giving an academic view of what these things are, this documentary tells you about the experience of seeing them. And it dramatizes them in a proper horror movie way because it's trying to make the audience understand what it's like to experience it. And it is fascinating.
I saw that on Amazon Prime, I think, Diamanda, if I remember rightly. I watched that, but it's not a. It was independent documentary, right? It wasn't a big deal. It was an independent one.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, but I remember seeing that one too. It was great. In fact, have you ever had that experience? Any of
Yes.
you?
Yes.
Me too. I've had it too. It was scary.
With my one, because I'd read about it beforehand, so I worked out what was going on.
Yeah.
So I just watched the thing. I wasn't actually afraid
Yeah.
because I knew what was going on. So I was just like, well, that is interesting. I
Me
just
too.
watched it.
Me too. I had exactly the same experience. I'd seen a few documentaries about it. I'd read the books. It was called The Old Hag in the like in the literature, or The Old Witch, when you feel like somebody's sitting on your chest. And I understood. I thought, okay, I think this is just sleep paralysis, but I couldn't move, and I could see figures like outside of my vision, outside of my bed. But like you, I just thought, I think this is sleep paralysis. I just got on with it. But man, it was scary. It was a scary experience.
Like I've never taken LSD, but I got the experience.
I have. I've taken a lot of it.
I'd kind of be interested in trying it, even if I get a bad trip, because, if I go in there with the same mindset, I would think I'd be interested to find out what terrifies me if I had a bad trip, because I imagine it might show me better than I can just guess.
I promise you, to anybody who's listening, I'm not an advocate for acid. I'm not at all. Right? It's I had plenty of bad trips, plenty of good ones too. I took it a lot. But it's all to do with the frame of mind you're in, the people you're with, the state you're in. If you take it in a bad frame of mind, you're going to have a bad trip. You take it in a good frame of mind, you're going to have a good trip. That's the way it worked for me. It always did. And I took a lot. I was a Jim Morrison fan, so I took it a lot. I was like, I wanted to be Jim Morrison when I was a kid. He's the reason why I've got long hair. It was like, start with mushrooms. Mushrooms are nice. You can take mushrooms and experiment with those. There is much more mellow. I'm not advocating drugs at all. I'm not, because I'm not. I promise you, I'm not. Because the thing about drugs is it's a total fake reality. It's not real at all. It's a nice experience. But for me, taking drugs is getting away from reality, and I want to be in reality. I like the experience of it. And the thing about drugs is it's all fake. It's a lie. It's false. You're not seeing what you're seeing. You're not feeling what you're feeling. It's all fake. It is. It's like, and that's like somebody telling you your life story back to you, but it's a lie. That's what drugs feels like. It is. That really is what drugs feels like. It is.
I got a funny thing to tell you about LSD, which you might be familiar with, you might not be. It's only tangentially related to it. There's a guy who was one of the creators of the religion of Discordianism. Was in the 1950s, he was in the military with a good friend of his, and they would do tricks on people. They would like take the piss out of things. they were good friends. They went through training together. They were serving together. His good friend, Lee Harvey Oswald, and he wrote a book about their adventures together, and it is the only book written about Lee Harvey Oswald before the Kennedy assassination. And then afterwards they split up. They say they never saw each other again. The guy the Discordian founder, he later on claims he was dosed by MK Ultra with LSD, and he was serving in one of the places they were doing that. So it's very possible he was, and he later on developed quite horrific mental illness.
Anything at that time is possible. It really is. I mean, did you see the great documentary that the guy did the Thin Blue Line made about drugs, about the guy that committed suicide, the CIA guy? Yeah, which God, I can't remember anything now. Errol Morris made a documentary.
Oh yes,
Wormwood. It was Wormwood, the documentary. It was incredible. I mean, and that stuff was going on all the time. But that was he's a great documentarian, that guy Errol Morris.
He is. He invented the thing of having the screen on,
I think he called it the interpretator or something, didn't he? Where it was like so the people are looking at themselves.
Yeah, it's you're looking straight at them rather than looking off to the side.
The Interatron, that's what he called it, the Interatron. I think it was.
It's absolutely. He does fascinating stuff.
Someone
asked if it was Robert Anton Wilson, and no, it is Kerry Thornley.
Kerry Thornley.
He later on he fell into living in New Orleans, where he met a bunch of people, and he kept talking about different ways to how you could kill Kennedy. Coming up with various ways, and then of course the skull gets very suspicious after Kennedy dies, and his reaction after hearing about the assassination is to say, "I bet my friend Lee Harvey Oswald did that."
Oh, really?
And then it was discovered that he was living like 3 blocks from Lee Harvey Oswald for several years in New Orleans. And he said they never saw each other, but he was doing a lot of drugs at the time, so he might.
Might have
But
been.
as you can imagine, he got called into the Warren Commission, had to answer all sorts of questions, which didn't help his mental health.
I remember reading the bits of the Warren Commission that we're allowed to read about that. It's incredible. It is. I mean, that's a whole. We should do an episode on that in itself. The whole JFK. That would be great.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
That would be an interesting episode to do. But I mean, there was one of the best documentaries I ever saw about that was Lee Harvey Oswald's defense attorney made a documentary about what his defense would have been if he'd lived, and it was incredible. So he actually interviewed the guys. There was like 3 railway workers who were on the bridge that JFK was going to go underneath, under the underpass, who were just railroad workers. And all 3 of them said, yep, saw a guy behind there. There was a puff of smoke. There was a guy who was filming on the roof across the way. It's an incredible documentary, that one. I didn't do a video review of it, but in my posts, I think it was called Crossfire, I did a review of it in the posts. After I watched that, I posted a review of it on Boneyard Cinema. But it was such an interesting movie, and it was the defense that Oswald's attorney would have given if Oswald had survived. It was really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think I've seen that. It's called JFK.
well, that was Oliver Stone's crazy, drug-addled, fucking insane brain version of JFK. I do love Oliver Stone, by the way. I think Salvador and Talk Radio are 2 of the best films ever made. I love Oliver Stone. I do.
JFK is absolute bobbins when it comes to historical fact, but it is a fantastic bit of filmmaking.
It is a fantastic bit of filmmaking, right? It's based on 2 books, based on Jim Garrison's book, and it's based on Crossfire. There's 2 books it's based on, right?
It's and the really telling thing about JFK is that, they tried to recreate the bit where, the puff of smoke and stuff, but Stone had to use a smoke machine because none of the guns they could find would actually do the puff of smoke that could be seen on the location during the day.
Oh yeah, even guns of the time.
Yes.
That's great. That's so great. I can imagine him trying. I can imagine him getting so upset about it. But no, I do love him. Don't get me wrong. It's as a piece of filmmaking, right, Diamanda? It's a beautiful film. It is. It's a beautiful looking film. It really is. And I mean, you've got some of the best actors of the generation. Not Kevin Bacon.
I'm really sad that Kerry Thornley isn't a character in it because he was involved in there, and he is interesting enough, that he should have been.
I do love Tommy Lee Jones though as Clay Bertrand. I think that's really great. That's a really great performance.
And then there's what do you call him? The guy that Joe Pesci played.
God, I can picture Joe Pesci. I can't picture him with the eyebrows. David Ferry.
Yeah, like that guy, that poor guy. He was apparently just an eccentric who was doing nothing, but then he's turned up in like 5 or 6 different JFK related things and doing various things. He's just a random guy who didn't do anything of note ever, who's just become part of like this weird cinematic universe of just him, played by different actors. Tobin Bell plays him in something.
Does he? I didn't know that. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I can't remember. I think it might have been in Ruby or something.
Oh, Ruby, right. Yes, I did see Ruby. Yes.
Let me see. I gotta check out. Let me see. Sorry. Tobin Bell definitely played him in something. Yeah, and then in Ruby.
Ruby. Cool. I'll have to watch that again. That was pretty good, that I remember. But, I mean, there's so many good things about it. I mean, the film, the Oliver Stone film, there's so many great things about it. I mean, it was the same with The Doors. It was the same with Platoon. I think he really kind of encapsulated his time and his place in those movies. The Doors are my favorite band. They really are. That's why I've got long hair. Morrison was my favorite singer of all time. The Doors are my favorite band.
Val Kilmer's your favorite Jim Morrison?
He is. Val Kilmer's my favorite Jim Morrison. He's even more Jim Morrison than Jim Morrison. It's incredible.
He's super Jim.
But it was like, I mean, as a fanboy of the Doors, watching that, I mean, that's a fanboy's version of Jim Morrison. There's a great line that Ray Manzarek said, that the keyboardist from the Doors said. He was at the screening, walked out and said, "That was a great film, but who the fuck was that guy who played Jim Morrison? That was awful." It was like, it was a great film, but that's not Jim Morrison. It was Print the Legend. That was not him at all, you know. But I love the way that Oliver Stone does that. He prints the legend. You know, I mean, that's what JFK is. I think that's what Nixon is. I think that's. I love W. I think that's Josh Brolin's best performance by 20 million miles. I've never really liked that guy in anything else apart from playing W. And I think Oliver Stone's a really good director. I do. I think he directs actors to great performances.
I love his historical stuff. His stuff that's completely disconnected from history. You know, Savages, Any Given Sunday. That stuff I don't really care about.
Right.
You know,
did like
even
Any Given Sunday. I really like that film.
Oh, maybe I'll rewatch it at some point.
No, it's okay, man. You can hate it. That's fine. It's like just.
But I will. Okay, you've got Any Given Sunday. I will defend Alexander to the end.
Me too, man. I'll defend Alexander to the
fist bump.
Fist bump. I love Alexander. I mean, you've got Val Kilmer. that's all I need.
Oh, that film! The film has been designed, maybe not deliberately, but you know, it's been designed to make thematic sense to an ancient Greek.
Yeah, it has. I mean, the whole thing is he prints the legend, man. That's what he does.
Literally, they got all the legends in there. They're like referenced in it deliberately.
I love that stuff in it. I love it. I think it's. I don't know if you agree, but I think that and Miami Vice are Colin Farrell's two best performances. I really like Miami Vice, the movie, but nobody else seems to. But I really, really like that. I'm a big fan of the show. But man, at that time, I just thought he was great.
Would that be your choice for cult?
But I mean, it is. I mean, of all the things,
thing with him, you just got to think of him in blonde, you know, wearing white.
Totally, and a mustache. He's got a great mustache and
long hair.
And the long hair. But no, in fairness, Alexander gets far too much hate. It really does.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it's a fantastic feat of direction. It's like, I mean, the budget he had for it, every penny is on the screen. Every penny of Alexander is on the screen. Every bit of money he had is there, and it looks magnificent to me. It really does.
It is spectacular, though Colin Farrell is not the best screen Alexander. Shatner's not even the best screen Alexander. And you know, who was it that played him in the 60s on the movie? Was it Richard Burton?
I'm not sure. Alexander the Great, yes, it was Richard Burton, yes.
See, he isn't even either. The best one.
I had to go through my brain then. It was like Alexander the Great. The film was Alexander the Great. Yes, Richard Burton. I was like going through my brain.
The best one is
Martin Sheen. He's played everybody. It's got to be him.
No. I've got to find the guy's name because I can't remember his name. But Rohit Purohit.
Which movie was this?
This is Sikander, the Indian live action 60 episode biography series of him. It's edited from a 250 episode biography of King Porus. Wow. But the guy who plays him, he's playing him as the villain protagonist. He's playing him as the guy who's going to force you to fucking go across Asia, you know, to kill shit. He is playing him as...
Well, that's what he was.
Yeah. He's the only Alexander I've seen who gets who really gets that Alexander is a villain.
Well, he is. He was murdering everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it was total colonization of every place he could possibly find. He was just killing everybody and moving on.
Yeah, in this show, he's just wandering around murdering everyone, and it is fantastic. And he is selling the fuck out of it. He never blinks, and he's just got incredible levels of intensity. And it's got the best scene I've ever seen in a Sword and Sandals movie. It starts off with
that's a hefty thing you've just said there. The best scene in any Sword and Sandals movie.
Oh yeah,
wow!
Historical Sword and Sandals movie. Okay, it starts off with Philip raping Olympias, And then Olympias basically crawls away to the temple of Jupiter, and she yells at Jupiter, this big statue of Jupiter, that Philip will not be the father of this child. You, Zeus, will be the father of the child. And then Zeus is like, thunder claps, and Zeus is like, okay. And so snakes start descending from the ceiling and coming up from all outside of the temple, and they surround her and they impregnate her like a mass of snakes done by Zeus. And it's like, I saw that, I was like, okay, I jive with this show. This is
I'm
my
sold.
kind of
I'm
demented.
sold out. I'm watching that. Like I see, this isn't just my December. You've given me so many recommendations tonight. This is my next 6 months.
Well, then the Sikander, you can find it with subtitles on YouTube. It's
Sikander.
on the Swastik Productions. You can find it there. But if you want to see something that doesn't take like 5 days to watch,
No, it's fun. I love spending 5 days watching movies.
I did a video of it where I took Alexander the Great by Iron Maiden and I took clips from it and I did a music video, so you can watch that as a taster if you want.
Wow, I will indeed. I will.
That's called Sikander the Great.
Sikander the Great. That's fantastic. Are you looking for it now, Kerry? I was just looking.
Yeah, I am actually.
I thought you were.
Play it if you want. It is quite epic. It's not the best bit of editing ever, but I was just having fun.
I loved it. I've been thinking about doing that lately. I was thinking, do you do shorts and things much?
Occasionally, mostly.
I've been really thinking about trying to experiment with shorts a bit.
With the YouTube shorts, I do like ones on history, and I do ones on interesting movies, reviews and stuff like that. I think I get usually one of my running things. You won't see this because you're in England, and it's blocked in the UK. I take the intro of the Thunderbirds episode and I replace the footage of what's coming up this episode with footage from a disaster movie to make it look like the Thunderbirds are going to deal with the towering inferno.
Oh man, that's a whole genre of film that I absolutely worship. I worship at the altar of disaster movies. I love disaster movies.
They're so much fun.
They're so incredible, man. Earthquake is like you seen before about Jam. That's my jam. I love those disaster movies. I was watching one called Juggernaut the other week with Richard Harris, where he gets on this ship and he's got to dismantle this bomb. It was so incredible. It was like, well, I mean, it should have been a much better film. It really should have, but it was just like, oh, it was so good.
Have you ever seen 10.0 Earthquake?
Yes, I have. I've got all those.
Funny.
I've got so many of those Hallmark ones and stuff like. I love all those ones. The Sci-Fi Channel ones are even better. I love the ones.
You got the Fisher, sneaking up on people, and you've got the lead is this Peruvian dude with an English accent, who's Scottish.
I know. and it's like the worst flipping like drag and drop effects at the end when the thing's exploding. Oh man, it was so good. But I love all that stuff. I really do. I love all those. And in fact, with disaster movies, the worse effects, the better. I really do love some of the really bad ones. But
I've not seen it yet, but I really want to see the Last Voyage because they actually mostly sank an actual ship for it.
It's the last voyage, the 70s Last Voyage.
Yeah, it was in the 70s. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a really good one. There's some. I mean, the other week I watched. I think it might still be back there actually. I bought a Paul Newman one that was the only Irwin Allen one I hadn't seen, and it was Paul Newman and Jacqueline Bisset, and they're like on this island, and the volcano erupts, and it's just so. But it was like the set pieces were just. That was it. It was just one set piece. And for Irwin Allen, it was like he must have known that his money was up, and it was his last big one. It was terrible.
Yeah, that's the one. James Franciscus was the villain.
That's the one. And the big fireball kills him at the end. Like he'd stand in the hotel on the thing, and the big fireball just comes and gets. Oh, yeah. James Franciscus, man, a legend among heroes.
Edward Albert was also in that.
Well, he must. I mean, he must be because we mentioned him 3 times tonight. We mentioned him from Dario Argento, Beneath the Planet of the Apes, and now when time ran out, it was
time ran out.
Time ran out. Yeah.
William Holden from Network was in it too.
He was indeed. Yes.
There you go. 6 degrees of separation once again.
Oh.
Right. We shall call it in late.
I am going to crash for a couple of hours. I'm getting back to editing.
Okay. No
It's-
problemo.
Hmm?
No problemo.
Anyway, that was a lovely chat.
Oh, are you kidding? It's been amazing. I've really enjoyed meeting you
Really good
tonight, Diamanda.
suggestions.
It's
And
been
definitely
incredible.
we got our
Ho- ho-
Christmas sorted.
Hopefully we can do it again. This has been a really great chat.
Do you
Yeah.
have a Blue Sky or a Twitter?
I am on Twitter, but I hardly ever use it. In fact, I don't even know
Yeah,
what
I'm on Blue Sky.
Twitter is. But I'm not on Blue Sky. But Carrie is, right?
I think so.
Yep.
Yeah, get on Blue
Yes,
Sky.
I am. Yeah.
All
I
right.
am. I am. Sign in. Yes, I'm there.
But yeah, my Twitter's just Boneyard Cinema at John Rennie 1. That's it. All I do is I'm hardly ever on there. I just post the videos on there. I did try for a while, but nobody likes me. I'm just
Oh, they're very silly.
I'm just one of those randomers. But I mean, please, let's do this again. It's been an incredible conversation.
So
Thanks, Minty, man. Thanks very much for joining us. It's
Yes.
great.
right. Okay, dokie. We'll
It's always a lovely chat.